Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Sewing Street with me, Vicky Carroll. We have got the most amazing day for you today. In fact, I did mention yesterday, it was absolutely crazy busy yesterday. Gorgeous Delphine had the most incredible show, and it's going to be a repeat, I feel. So I just want to say, before we start anything today, please, please, please search Jane Greenoff or the Cross Stitch Guild on the website, Cross Stitch Guild on the website, and you'll see all of Jane Greenoff's kits. Everything will come up because we have got the most amazing show with Jane today. And I've not seen Jane for months and months and months and months and months. It's going to be brilliant to have her back in the studio, especially in the new studio. As always, she brings with her a wealth of knowledge. I was just reading on YouTube and somebody had written that she is the Bob Ross of cross stitch. She really is. So we've got the Bob Ross of felting with Delphine, and now we've got the Bob Ross of cross stitch with Jane Greenoff. And my word, she is just a wealth of knowledge and an incredible, incredible woman as well. So do get all your messages in for her. Starting with the early bird. I know lots of you have already opened your orders nice and early this morning already. Well done, Eagle Eyes on the website. Have you spotted today's early bird? I've not seen the June Taylor quilting spray as an early bird before. I think this might be a first. And actually, I must say, I've been talking more and more about basting sprays. It's a temporary hold. It's going to be brilliant if you're basting any of your quilts or any cushions or any wall hangings or anything that you need to, layer up and make your quilt sandwich if you want to do any quilting. But what I also love is that you could use this with your applique. So if you want to use it as a temporary hold, fix something in place temporarily, this is going to be brilliant, and it's going to go a long, long way, isn't it? I mean, it's a really nice big can that's going to last you a long time. You only need to put a small spray on your wadding or on the back of your fabric, about 10 to 12 inches away from your batting or your wadding, and then fix it to your fabric, and it will just give it that temporary hold until you quilt it. But I know that this is quite often quilter's choice of basting. There's lots of different ways of basting a quilt, whether it be with your micro stitch tool, whether it be with like the banana curved safety pins, whether it be with hand tacking, hand cutting, or with a 505 spray, or this is an equivalent from June Taylor. But they are absolutely brilliant and very, 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 very popular indeed. When you're looking at the brand June Taylor, of course, you know that you've got great quality. We've seen quite a few of the products and absolutely love them. Just £10.49. Make sure that you're doing it in a well-ventilated area. So make sure that you've got a window open, and as I say, you only need to do a very light coat of it from about 10 to 12 inches away from your work. It's at an early bird special price today. It is brilliant for your polyester or your cotton wadding, depending on whatever the fibres are. It will be absolutely fine. And then when you chuck it in the wash, it will remove it all completely. So it is a temporary adhesive. Pardon, sorry? Yeah, this is one of those that will last you a while, but I would stock up on it because if you are maybe doing lots of quilting and finishing lots of unfinished projects over that you've been getting on with over the last few months, then this is going to be really, really handy to have. Just £10.49, as I say, we start the day every day with an early bird special, and this is going to be a great one to try out if you haven't already. Those of you that haven't yet opened your order, if you do it this morning, then you'll only pay, well, in fact, if you purchase more than one item, throughout the whole duration of the day, you unlock one P&P. So you can buy as much as you want all day. Stay with us today because it's going to be a really, really exciting show. As I say, Jane Greenoff is going to be joining me at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. We've got new kits, we've got exclusive kits, we've got some that are back in stock that sold out the last time she was here. So it's very exciting. We've got a brand new bundle as well, which you'll see throughout the show, so stay tuned. It's going to be brilliant. Now, that is, as I say, today's early bird. Another special deal that we've got going on this week, and it is going to run out very, very soon, is the £5.50 sewing machine deal. Now, it's not very often. Every now and then we'll put an offer on a machine. I mean, we're always very, very confident in the prices and the quality of the machines that we bring to you anyway. So when we bundle it with lots of freebies and lots of goodies, it's a really good chance to snap it up. The machine is one of my favourites, and in fact it's one of the guest designers' favourites. Whenever guest designers come in, we always ask them what machine they would like to use, and 9 out of 10 times they ask for this machine because it is robust, it's simple to use, it's even easy to navigate through. It's one of those that can still bring the professional results, whether it be with quilting or dressmaking or bag making. It's got all of those features and functions on the front that we are used to and we love with Elna. It comes with an extension table, it comes with a 2-year warranty, it comes with a great array of different feet and accessories as standard. But then today you're also getting an inspirational handmade touch book. You're also getting some Janome Janome scissors, some Janome bobbins, which will go perfectly with your Elna machine. You also get a Christmas wreath and you get the design roll. Now, I know I've been talking about this over the last couple of days, so if you have got any questions, I'm not going to spend as much time going through all the features and functions today, but if you do have any questions about it, please do get them in and we can answer them on air. So, today's show, we've got a brilliant lineup. We're going to start the day with workroom tools. Lots of great sewing tools and gadgets. We've got some brilliant gift ideas. There's lots of us are starting to think about Christmas. So 8 o'clock this first hour, we're going to be talking about all of the tools to get you kitted out. 9 o'clock, be there. Jane Greenoff is back. Oh, I'm so pleased that we've got a lot of people who are messaging in. Very excited. We've got some exclusives. We've got some of your favourites back in stock as well. So it's going to be a great hour at 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock, Stash Builders. Kat's put together some beautiful brand new fabric bundles for you. So that's coming up at 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock, Jane will be back with a full hour. If you've got any questions, she is such a wealth of knowledge. She's going to do a bit of demoing as well. So if you've got any stitches that you're struggling with, then let us know and we can ask her on air. That's at 11 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, we are going to be doing a repeat from yesterday's show of the quilting books and tools. Now, I mean, look at this. Behind me, we have got some of the most amazing cross-stitch work. Not by Jane. We've got some that are from the Cross-Stitch Guild. We've got one which I'm not going to talk too much about now because I want Jane to tell you about it because it's absolutely fascinating. It's one of her latest pieces. For anybody who is at home thinking, oh, do you know what, I'm probably not going to watch at 9 o'clock because my eyesight isn't great for cross-stitch. This piece was stitched in 1852 by a little girl who was 6 years old. I mean, how amazing is that? Jane said, I know that you're going to think I'm crazy, but I couldn't not buy this. I had to buy it. It isn't one that's for Sarah today, and it isn't one that we're going to be kitting or doing ourselves, but I just wanted to show you, and I know that Jane's, it's her passion. It isn't just her job. It's an absolute lifestyle. She lives and breathes cross-stitch. So, as I said, she's such a wealth of knowledge and an amazing author, an amazing teacher, and just the most gorgeous woman as well, isn't she? We have such a laugh with Jane in the morning. We really do. We love her here. So very excited to welcome her into the studio in the next hour. Now, I know a lot of people have been purchasing sewing machines this week, whether it be the 680, whether it be the 550. Not just this week. I know that we've got the offers on at the moment, but over the last 6 months, manufacturers have been struggling to meet the demand of the brand new sewers, people who want new sewing machines. So we've put together a bit of a bundle for anybody who might have got a brand new sewing machine over the last 6 months, or maybe you've had a sewing machine for years and you want to get yourself a nice cover. Now, Kat very kindly has already put the 680 in here just so you can see the 680 does fit in there. Absolutely. It's snug. But it's not tight though. When you told me that it was going to be really, it's not absolutely bulging at the seams. It's like Paul's jeans at the moment. They're snug, but you know, it's not completely bulging at the seams. So in the, oh my word, sorry saying that at 8:10 in the morning, Paul. Anyway, so in the bundle today, you don't get the machine, unfortunately, but you do get the lovely sewing machine bag, which is gorgeous quality. It's got a lovely little feet on the bottom. It's got a pocket on the front for you to put your foot pedal and your extension cable and everything like that in there. It's got a Velcro grip handle, lovely and wipeable. You've also got your slip reduction mat. Sorry for me to pause there. The reason that I paused is because sometimes I have to remember what this is actually for, because I call this a noise reduction mat, and it's not actually designed to be a noise reduction mat, but it reminds me of, when you go into a recording studio, everybody, when we're recording our songs, and you see, well, we've got it all in our ceiling here. It's like a noise reducing fabric sort of thing, foam, and that's what it reminds me of. It's very, very dense, and it does, I feel, reduce a bit of the sound. So if you do have any quite noisy machines at home, or you like to sew at night, this is a really, really good a good mat to have. Also, it protects your table. Whether you've got a really beautiful work desk like ours that's brand new, or whether you're sewing on a dining room table or an office desk that you want to still protect, then absolutely brilliant. Kat has also bundled in some of your red tip needles, which are fantastic for your metallics and any other sort of delicate or how do I put this? Any other sort of more difficult threads to use, as I say, like your metallics. Is that right, Kat? 30, sorry. They're your red tip needles. It's always on. It's really annoying how it's on the sticker is exactly where it tells me what the red tips are for. But I know that they're for metallic, so I'm also thinking that it's got like a larger eye. So if you've got any thicker threads, it's going to be able to go through the eye a lot easier, I think. Well, I know that, but I'm just saying that that's what your red tip needle's for. And then you also have all of your Janome bobbins, which you can use in conjunction with your Janome or your Elna machines. Extra bobbins are always great. I know Jane when Jane from Elna comes in, she will always say, make sure you've got yourself the right bobbins, because some manufacturers' bobbins don't like Elna machines. They just don't like your Janome machine. Try and match up the brands where you can. So that's a brilliant little purchase as well. It's always annoying, isn't it, when you run out of bobbins? You can just wind them all ready to go. So basically, you're getting your needles for free, £5.50, saving £5.50 today, free needles. So if you've bought the machine, the 550 or the 680, whichever machine that you're getting, this is going to fit perfectly. With the 550, it fits beautifully. You've got plenty of room in there to put more fabrics or some of your patterns, some of your tools, etc. But it still is good to know that it fits in with the 560. And I must say, the price point that you can see on your screen now, I have seen very, very similar price points just for a bag alone, just for your sewing machine bag. Even if you're not keeping it as a sewing machine bag, that's great sort of storage for your fabrics or anything else that you're lugging around. It's brilliant. Very, very strong indeed. Nice durable bag, and it's £36.98. So I was telling everybody a couple of days ago that over the last few weeks, well, my mum's got back into sewing. I always grew up with a sewing machine in the house, and my mum did lots of courses of interior design and all of this sort of thing, so she's always liked to sew. But she's recently, since like lockdown, she's got a machine out of the garage, dusted it off, and she keeps ringing me saying, Vic, how to do this and what does this mean? Put me on FaceTime. And I'm like, Mum, you're facing the wrong way. I've had to try and teach her how to do FaceTime. Anyway, I've been troubleshooting so much of lots of my different friends and family who have got sewing machines who have got them out over lockdown. This book is unlike anything else I have seen, and I will be getting this for every single person in their stocking this year, because this is so good. Books always sort of tell you how to do things correctly, and let's face it, sometimes when you're working on a sewing machine, things go wrong, and they don't always tell you in your instructions how to troubleshoot those problems. I've never seen this book until literally about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and oh my word, it is brilliant. So let me go through. I like that it's ring bound as well, so you can actually work from this. You can have it on your desk and work from it. It starts off by telling you all in the contents about what we're going to be troubleshooting, so you can easily navigate through the book and find what problem that you might have. So it says here, your troubleshooting guide. Is it skipping stitches, shredding, or breaking thread? Possible causes and what to do. So it doesn't only tell you, right, this is what you need to do to fix it. It tells you why it might be doing that. And that means that maybe you can prevent it in the future. I'm one of these people that I learn best from somebody telling me why I do it. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm sewing, someone who just says, right, now do this, now do this, now do this, I'm like, no, but why would I do that? I always like to know why. So I love that it says the problem causes and what to do. You're not flicking through a manual, trying to find the right page to give you an answer. And as I say, even in manuals, they don't necessarily tell you what to do if your thread keeps breaking, or what to do if you get loops at the back of the fabric. It doesn't tell you what to do if you get inconsistent tension or your fabric won't feed. The possible causes, what to do, as I say. So this is just brilliant. Uneven stitch length, won't climb seams, fabric puckering, needle hitting. These are all problems that will tell you what might cause it and also how to rectify it. Noise in the bobbin area, machine gets jammed, machine won't turn on. I mean, there's loads, low bobber sensing not worker. There's so many. Thread nests after using cutting. See, I just need this in life. So do you, Paul, don't you? Girl doesn't text back. What are the reasons? What are the problems causing this? And what can I do about it? Maybe we should write you a manual, Paul. Tension in a relationship. Oh, here we go. Tension in a relationship, top tension. And I love the fact that this isn't about a specific machine. This isn't saying about the Owner 550. This is in general. This is around all machines. So generally, the top tension and your presser foot tension, we all have seen fabric at the back that looks like this. It's got loops at the back, loops of top thread on the back of the fabric, and you're like, how do I try and rectify this? I love the fact you've got tips along the way. For anybody who maybe rings you and says, right, what do I do about this? I keep getting this or I keep getting this. This book would be a brilliant, brilliant gift for somebody for Christmas. Making adjustments. I absolutely love it. Prop showing the knot in the middle of the fabric. It also shows you, teaches you through why it is doing what it's doing and what is actually going on in your machine. We've also got a lot about the bobbin, which is great because I know a lot of my problems have actually been to do with the bobbin, to do with threads, damage to bobbin case, how to help, how to thread correctly and incorrect threading. Skipping on the thread guide. I'm not going to go through it all, but on my word, I mean, it's a big book. There's a lot here. It will talk to you about pressure foot adjusting. It will talk to you about working with different fabrics. If it's not got enough pressure, that looks a bit of free motion embroidery as well. Forward and reverse balance adjustment. You might not need to read this all in one go. You could, don't get me wrong, you could do. This could be one of these that you read it all through and you understand your machine a bit more. Or keep it in your sewing machine bag, and if you get to that point where you think, right, my machine needs a bit of time out, it's going to sit on the naughty step, get your manual. This isn't a machine manual, but get your quick how to help troubleshooting guide out. It's nice to have that reference guide, that reference tool that's all ring bound as well, so easy to work from. Keep it open at a page. I absolutely love it. When you think, right, okay, £20 for a book, initially when I saw it, I thought, is that quite expensive? I don't know. But now when I think about it, how many times have you had to take your machine to be serviced? Or how many times have you had to give your machine time out because you don't understand? Or how many YouTube videos have you trawled through and still can't find the answer? How many pages have you looked through on the internet? Then you end up looking at something else and it's hours gone by. Whereas what I love about this is that there are so many different, very common troubleshooting problems that you'll be able to troubleshoot through. Maybe if it's not your machine necessarily, if you're like me and get people ringing you all the time saying, hang on, why is this not working? Or what can I do? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I would be able to go through the book and try and find your problems as well. Okay, so that's our troubleshooting tool. That's a brilliant Christmas gift idea. These are also brilliant gift ideas. Oh, is that me? Can I hear myself as well? So, we've got the hand cream and we've got the nail oil. Can I do the oil first? Thank you. You know my routine, Kat, don't you? So, this I always feel is quite a luxury. It really, really is. Over the last 6 months, we've all been washing our hands lots more. If you go into any shops or your supermarkets and you do the pumpy anti-bac, some of them can be really quite abrasive, I've found. For anybody who has any dry skin or elbows, knees, cuticles, this is going to be brilliant. It isn't just necessarily for your hands and nails. I know that Karen, who actually invented seams, she says that this is brilliant for lots, all dry areas really. It comes in like a little pipette style, what's it called? Little pipette? Yeah, it is a pipette. You don't even need to squeeze it. I mean, you have got enough here. It says the shelf life is 12 months and it will last that long because look, even if you do this every single evening before you go to bed, give your hands a little bit of me time and give your hands a bit of a massage through with your cuticle oil and your hand cream. And oh my word, you will see such a difference. I always thought my cuticles were something that I would never really hear about until maybe at Christmas when I got treated to a fancy manicure at a salon, and then it's never something that you necessarily think of doing at home, but actually it really does make a difference. And as I say, I used to always go and have my nails done, and my nails have been ever so weak over the last year or so, I'd say, since I haven't had false nails on. And I must say, during the last 6 months of lockdown, you'll see in a second, but my nails have got so much stronger from using the Seams hand cream and nail oil. It is designed especially for sewers in mind. Quite often, these products can leave your hands feeling very, very greasy, but what I love about it is that it absorbs almost instantly. It smells absolutely beautiful and it feels very, very silky and luxurious. We've got lots of, I mean, if you go onto Seams' website, you will see lots of testimonials, not from Tom, Dick and Harry, from people in the public eye who have used these very hand creams. So we're really proud to be working with Seams. Have a look here. I mean, is that Kelly Osbourne? Kelly Osbourne, first one. Love the hand cream. Carl Weathers. Fragrance that isn't overpowering. Jewel Hill from Suits. She's an actor. My hands, thank you. No more ashy skin. See, this is the great thing about the hand creams. Kate Garraway. There's a lot of people who are in different industries. When we first bought it on air, we were talking about Seams for sewers, and it's perfect if you're doing hand sewing. Anthea Turner, another one. Jilly Jordan, there's a lady who's an ice dancer on Dancing on Ice who loves it. There's Paul Young, the singer. I mean, she has got huge names who have been already loving the Seams hand cream. Is that, does that say Emma Willis? Emma White? Lots of professional makeup artists, which again, you want something that is going to sink into your hands, don't you? Nice and easily. The Seams Cuticle Oil, if you can see here, it says it's designed to help soften and restore in condition. That's with the macadamia nut oil, just to make you aware it does have macadamia nut oil in, rosehip oil and rice bran oils, to nourish an even skin tone, to moisturise and enhance the skin barrier, to hydrate and promote skin renewal, and to smooth. And this has got like a really lovely coconut oil, silky soft feel to it. There's so many ingredients in here. There are so many ingredients. I know that Karen is extremely passionate about her products. And in fact, she invented it when she went onto a milliner's course making hats. And she said her hands were absolutely in ruins. And she asked the lady on the course what hand cream they all use. And they said, well, we haven't really found one. Lots of hand creams and nail oils and things like that I've found, they sit on the surface of your skin and they don't actually penetrate through. Whereas this is one that absorbs virtually instantly and sinks really far into your skin to really help, again, with the hand cream, help moisturize, help soften and restore, help nourish and smooth, help hydrate and enhance the skin barrier, help even skin tone, help to strengthen nails. And I must say mine have got so much stronger and to comfort, which is that beautiful Fragonia oil, which is Scent's signature smell. And it's not like a medically, clinically smell, and it's not overpoweringly floral either. Some of them can be quite strong, can't they? And another thing about Karen is that she designed this for somebody who is working a lot with fabrics and hand sewing. So if you are working with silk dupion and you're thinking, oh, I just couldn't risk getting grease on them, then why not have a go with the hand cream that is designed with sewers in mind? She worked with some of the best pharmaceuticals to be able to come up with the perfect concoction of ingredients that really, really do help, as I say, to nourish and condition. You only need a very small pea size amount and you can feel, oh my word, you can just feel your skin drinking it. It's beautiful. £13.99 I think is a brilliant price when you're looking at something that has got so many ingredients. Again, if you have a look here on the back of the packet, it has got macadamia nut oil in, just to make you aware if anybody has a nut allergy. But it's got so many ingredients, which for £13.99 I think is a fantastic price. Bearing in mind, if you go to like L'Occitane or Joe Malone, or if you go to Kiehl's, if you go to Neil's Yard, if you have a look at their hand creams, I think that this one could have been sort of leading more towards £20 or even over, because it will last you the test of time as well. And it's up to you how much you want to apply. I love it. I just indulge. I mean, I probably put too much on. I love it. It smells so nice. We often have a manicure in the morning, don't we, Kat? We have a bit of we haven't had time this morning because we've been chatting to our Jane Greenoff, but normally we'll say, oh, should we sit with our cup of tea and should we have a little manicure? Which is just so lovely, isn't it? I would do that in the evening as well, just before you go to bed, giving your hands a bit of a massage through. Also, hand sanitizer coming soon, which is going to be brilliant. Very excited about that, coming soon. Right, so let me shimmy this out the way. Now, we've got the ironing mat, we've got the mini iron. We're going to start talking about the mini iron because every single time that we have this on air, people are always messaging about it. If you've got one of these, then you'll know, oh, how mighty they are. Small but mighty. I always tell everybody my absolute pet hate is travel irons. It is literally like my room 101 thing. Do not like travel irons because they have a tiny lead. They just don't work very well, I find. They don't get the creases out. Whereas this is the most, well, it's the most like my domestic iron that I've ever found in a smaller size iron. It's got a really long 2-meter cable, which is like your thick domestic cord iron. In fact, it's exactly the same cord as our main big iron. So I love that about it. I also love the fact that you have got that the steam on and steam off option. You can really easily fill this up. It comes with a little jug. It's got little feet, which not all travel irons or smaller irons provide. So you're not having to put this onto a rest or keep it down. You have got those nice little feet. You've also got your temperature control dial on the front here. So you can change your temperature really nice and easily. For anybody who's doing smaller projects or lots of pressing, opening seams, this is a dream. If you are doing lots of patchwork where you need to keep opening seams, with your larger iron, I find it can be quite, what's the word? It can be quite, well, too big basically sometimes. It can be too big to get into those seams, whereas this is going to be ideal for smaller projects. But even actually, I mean, even if you're ironing your clothes, then I have been known to take mine on my holidays with me, and it's only $39.99. It comes with a little drawstring bag. It comes with a little jug as well, and it's less than £40 from Prim, which we absolutely love. It's one of those products that when we get it in stock, it sells very, very quick, but then it also disappears out of stock very quickly. So if you are umming and ahhing about it, maybe for Christmas, make the most of it whilst you can. If you are just going on a little staycation and you don't want to take a big iron with you, it's really handy. Oh, I just don't ever use hotel irons anymore. Just do not use them. Do not like them. Not now, I've got my mini iron as well. I love my Prim mini iron. So that's the iron. We've also got the Prim ironing blanket, which is here. What I like about this is quite often we have the ironing boards that have got a hard surface underneath, which are great and serve a brilliant purpose. But if you do just simply want to scrunch this up and chuck it in the cupboard, or fold it up nice and neatly and put it in the drawer, then you absolutely can. It's got all of those clear markings and angles. It's got your centimetre markings. It's got 45, 60 degree and 30 degree angles on there as well. And it's just nice to be able to set up your station where you have your sewing machine, your pressing and your cutting mat all there ready to go. £24.99. The reverse of it is going to protect your service as well, isn't it? I like to be able to do my ironing on the kitchen surface without having to get the main big ironing board out. This is absolutely perfect. Just £24.99 for your ironing blanket. And then we've also got the ironing rulers back in stock. These have been so popular. They come in 2 different sizes. They are something that we didn't see on air for absolutely ages, and we've just loved them, haven't we, Kat? So you've got the 10 centimetre by 30 centimetre, then you've also got your 5 by 15. Depending on whether you're doing cuffs or hems, trouser legs, whatever you are wanting to get a really lovely, consistent hem with, we've got 2 sizes to suit. So how you use it is if, for example, you want to do a 3 centimetre hem, I'm going to fold my fabric over to the 3 centimetre line, and depending on whether you're doing cuffs or something smaller, you've got the smaller card as well. And it is a specially developed sort of card that you can use with your iron. So I'm going to hold that in place here and just go straight in with my iron. There's no guessing, you've always got that ruler there. You're going to be able to follow the line all the way across. If you want to then do a really nice clean, I mean, I've got about 5 layers here, but if you want it to be lovely and clean, you can then again fold over once again. And get a perfect, consistent hem, without having to stop and measure again, or mark it out. You can use it with your iron, and you can reuse it time and time again. Can you see that it's got a couple of sort of perforated parts on here? You can actually take all of those little cardboards bits out, and you can mark it. So if you do want to use it with a marking fabric pen or a pencil as well, you can use that also. Okay. So they're your Prim ironing rulers. We always see lots of people checking out on those, especially over the last week or 2. Let me just shimmy this back. You thought what, sorry? Oh, the leopard print box. You didn't realise that it was on the show today. It's great, isn't it? This is so cool. This is absolutely lovely, and it comes with your little pin cushion in there as well, you can't really see it, and a storage tray. Now it doesn't come with the these thread organiser boxes, but they go perfectly with it. You've also got a lovely trim that goes around. How pretty is this for a gift for somebody? It is our most affordable sewing box. I'm thinking if you want to get one for any of your hand sewing, you cross stitch maybe, then this is going to be ideal. If you've got one for your EPP, I'll always remember rummaging through my mum's sewing box like this. She used to keep all her buttons and lots of little spools and threads and trinket bits. It is something that maybe you do have separate crafts that you want to keep your EPP bits separate to your cross stitch bits. Or if you don't have a designated sewing room and you need to just put things away, then that's going to look lovely in any bedroom or any living room. And it's so on trend, let's face it. It's leopard print, which we absolutely love, which is why Paul thought that it was one of ours, because Kat and I are partial for a bit of leopard print, aren't we? £16.99. In fact, yeah, Paul says this goes with the pants that he's wearing. I was going to say, you're partial to a bit of leopard print as well, aren't you? £16.99 for your hobby gift box. Comes with the handle as well, so you can easily transport it on the move. But today, we've also paired this with our storage spool holders. After yesterday's early bird, we absolutely loved yesterday's Gutermann spool early bird. So we thought, not a better time to get these nice and organised. Now you just get the one, but we thought this is great that you can store them in your organiser. So you can actually store 2 in there. £4.99. So you can store 2. So if you're multi-buying, you're only going to pay 1 postage and packaging. How many spools can you get in here? 27. They've got the little posts, you can see here. They've got the little posts that you can put your spools on there. Keep them nice and organised. I like that it's transparent as well, so you can see what threads you've got in there. So you can see what you've got. How I've got my threads in like a box, and I'll think, oh, do you know what? I don't think I've got any white left, or I don't think I've got any brown. And then at the bottom, I end up finding it. So in the end, you do actually save time and money by having all of your threads stored away nicely for just £4.99. If you have a look on our website and type in Cross Stitch Guild, you'll be able to see all of Jane Greenoff's kits that's coming up. So loads of you have already done it. Just to quickly remind you, if you haven't done it already, this is how you get in touch and this is how you shop.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying 1 postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay 1 lot of postage all day? That's 1 payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Just that we remind you, as a lot of people, as I say, have been checking out on all of Jane Greenoff's products. I don't want a repeat of yesterday, although it was lovely, wasn't it, yesterday? But yesterday we had so many people at the end of the day say, oh, where are the kits? And we're like, they sold out about 5 hours ago. Everything sold out so quick. So if you do want any of those cross-stitch kits that maybe you missed out on before, the garden shed, in fact, was so popular. It sold out in 10 minutes the last time it was on air. So we've got it back. Already selling again today. We've got some exclusives as well. The token of love is beautiful. Oh, there's the greenhouse. How amazing is that? You get to make the greenhouse and then you store all of your bits and bobs inside there. How incredible is that? Tape measure, scissor keepers, what bow, I love it. We've also got the really beautiful little needle keepers that are back as well. Oh, he looks like he's holding a lightsaber there, doesn't he, the owl? The little owl and the hippo. The gold-plated needles back in stock as well. The gold-plated needles are back. Very excited about those. We've also got some exclusives today. Token of Love pincushion, all of these. So I just thought I'd let you know, for anybody who was a bit unsure of purchasing yesterday, I do want to make sure that everybody has a head start and knows exactly how to shop. Okay, so as we've got all of our nice little storage all sorted, I love this. Now, I have personal, very sort of sentimental reasons why I love robins. I absolutely love them, and I know that lots of people will probably share the same reason. But they're also great for Christmas, aren't they? My goddaughter's name's Robin, actually, and I always try and find little robin things for her, and it's only around Christmas that I get to find them. So this is lovely for all year round. It is designed as a little pincushion, but I just think it's a lovely little friend to have sitting on your sewing machine. Isn't he adorable? Oh. Right, so I haven't got any pins here, but the pins won't hurt him. Don't worry, don't worry. But you can use him as a pincushion, and you can fit plenty of pins in there, even some clips maybe. Just £12.99. I think he's absolutely adorable. I know that Kat got into a bad habit of putting her pins into the side of the arm on the sofa and got into trouble doing that. Or I also see people, you know, just putting them on the side, they end up on the floor. Whereas it's always good to have a nice pincushion, especially one that's, as I say, it's not a novelty one, but it's a lovely, lovely little robin. I say little, you can fit lots of pins with this, can't you? He's a big robin, actually, isn't he? Just have him sitting on your sewing machine. He's absolutely gorgeous. Just £12.99. We're talking about Christmas. Is it too early? Kat's bought mince pies in today. Is it too early? And does it mean, is it too early to eat them for breakfast? Yes. Paul, I heard you whistling earlier, and he was going. I can't whistle, so I was humming it. But Paul was whistling. And I said, Paul, it's only September, because that's what he says all the time. And it got stuck in his head because I was singing it. But anyway, we are thinking about Christmas. And if you are thinking about getting your Christmas shopping done, dusted out the way, we thought that this would be a really lovely gift for any of your quilting friends. Maybe somebody that you haven't got to see for you know, a long time, that you used to go to all your quilting classes with. It's a creative grid, so it's absolutely brilliant quality. And can you see these hearts? They're so pretty, aren't they? Not only are they really pretty, but they're also non-slip grips. They are your creative grid non-slip grips. I love how it says, I love my quilting friends. How nice is that? So on the one side, you've got lots of different markings on here. So I believe that looks like every 1/8 of an inch, you've got a marking on this one. Every 1/4 of an inch, you've got marks. And then your full inches, you can see there, 1/4 of an inch is marked on that dashed line. So, I mean, that's brilliant, isn't it? To be able to have a really nice, useful gift. Quite often we're talking about large creative grid rulers, but having the smaller ones, if you're doing lots of half square triangles, it's less cumbersome, isn't it, than having a really big ruler. The other day, who was it that was on? I can't remember who was on with us, and she had her ruler and she was like, oh, it ends up poking into you when you're trying to do all your markings because it was so big, whereas this would be really handy. It's 6 inches, so if you're doing smaller half square triangles or flying geese units, wherever you are, whatever you're marking or sewing, this is going to be handy to have in your pencil case, and you can use it in conjunction with your rotary cutter still. It's a nice thick acrylic. It's got all of those non-slip grips, and it's only £15.99. It's been very, very popular in the past. It was one of Sally Ann Harrison's faves, actually. That was one of her picks. So do absolutely make the most of that. Another great gift idea. Early bird today, which actually, it isn't an early bird today. It was a very popular early bird special. And in fact, let's have a look. So inside here, you could put your knitting and crochet bits and bobs. It's still, I knew this would happen. Look, Still says early bird special on the graphics. You've still got that special price. Right, at the moment, you need to speak to the customer service team. Absolutely make the most of it. Any of these. The code is there at the top. It's FPZW08. Please do call the customer service team. It's 0800 001 4433. Free to call from UK landline or mobile. It's only £16.99. I think that is such a beautiful quilted bunting bag. It's got the pocket on the front. You can put any of your patterns in there. You can keep your cross-stitch bits in here. Talking all things cross-stitch today. A little bit of slow sewing. I really like the idea of us all getting into something a bit more mindful. Don't get me wrong, we love doing a bit of speedy sewing on a machine and run something up really quick, but then just sitting in front of the television or just sitting without any sound whatsoever, just with your own thoughts and doing some nice hand sewing. So this is great to keep all your bits and bobs in, isn't it? I think for anybody who does knitting and crochet, that's a perfect little bag. £16.99, love it. Oh, we mentioned about the little leopard print sewing box earlier, and we forgot to mention, we've also got little leopard print scissors, scissor keeper. I've seen this actually in John Lewis before, and it was, I think it was £6.99 or £6.50. I think it was £6.50. It's £3.99 today, which is amazing. It comes with the scissors. It comes with the little keeper. Your scissors are beautifully detailed as well. They've almost got like a bit of a Victorian antique finish to them with a beautiful sharp point. Now, if you are starting any hand sewing, whether it be cross stitch or embroidery, or whether you're, in fact, doing any sewing, you always need a little pair of snips, whether that be to cut into curves or whether it be to have just by your sewing machine. If you've got the 550, machines that don't have thread cutters. I know they've got the little thread cutter on the side, but I do like to just have a nice little pair of scissors handy, or to keep in your handbag, because it's a nice little safe scissor keeper. You're not going to lose them whilst they're tied onto that, and they're not going to prod into your handbag, or you reach into your bag and you end up prodding yourself. They're nice to have in your handbag. I always need a little pair of scissors in my bag. It's nice to be able to have it. Just £3.99. It's one of those orders that I think, right, if you've bought something already, add to your order and you'll only pay £1 postage and packaging all day long. Now, I've not seen this for absolutely ages, and I absolutely needed this morning. This is your Lint Magnet. So I've forever have used those rollers, and they're sticky, they get everywhere. You fold them off and then they don't last very long. I can just do a couple of like my woolen coats with them. Whereas this is something you can use and use and use again. It looks like a sponge. It feels like a sponge, but it's got like a coating on the top which will absorb any of your unwanted batting or fabric or thread from your cutting board. So, prepared earlier for me, we've got a cutting mat which will probably look quite familiar. It's got lots of little bits, lots of bit of thread, lots of little bits, and as you accumulate that fibre over the surface, you can run it under cool water, allow it to air dry, and then you can use it as many times as you want. And look at how efficient this is. It's picking up all those bits of thread and lint and collecting it on there. I think it's really effective. I wouldn't use, obviously, my lint roller on my cutting mat, really. I don't know why, but I think I'd make it sticky. So this is a great alternative. This is brilliant, isn't it? You can see how much lint it's collected. And as I say, now what I would do is you could pop that in the bin, run it under the cold tap, leave it to air dry, and then it will start again, and it's as good as new. You can use it time and time and time again. Just £5.99. How good's that? So, we love this, your little lint magnet. I'm sorry about the problem on the website at the moment, which is typical on one of our most exciting days. Fingers crossed it will all be fine for when Jane gets here. You can call our UK-based free customer service team. They're literally half a mile down the road from us, and they're so lovely, and they're there ready to help. So do let them know if you do want any assistance whatsoever, or if you're shopping with us today absolutely check out with the customer service team. Still, it is exactly the same as on the web. You'll only pay 1 P&P all day. It's the first time I've seen that in a long time, so absolutely make the most of it whilst you can. That's your Lint Magnet. Now, our lamp has been on charge this morning, not for very long actually, probably for the last half an hour or hour or so, and I think it might have already charged. Let me bring it round so I can show you. So this is your Pure Light, which is your tri-spectrum light. Now, it's got a lot of different bases. You can plug it into the mains, or you can charge it up and then unplug it, charge it up with the mains, unplug it, and you can use it with its battery. So yeah, it's charged nicely. And you can see that it's got a really lovely array of lights. So if I put it onto, let me turn it off completely, 1 second. Hang on, I'm just going to turn it off. She says, I'm going to keep pressing it until it goes off. There's my warm lights. And then there's my, oh, I had it. 1, 2, 3 setting of your sort of daylight, natural daylight. It's not taking ages to power up, you know, like some of the strip lights that you could get that when you turn them on, they can take ages to light up. Or if you're thinking of using a bulb, a lamp, they can get very, very hot. Whereas as we are going towards autumn and winter, and we are doing cross stitch or hand sewing, this is going to be absolutely brilliant, isn't it? To be able to clamp onto your desk and to be able to move it wherever you want, to have it right in front of your work. Let me show you the magnifier as well. I'll show you all of the ingredients on there. Sometimes it is in quite small print, isn't it? I don't know whether that is going to show you. There you go. You can see the text a lot clearer, can't you? I'd have this as a bedside table lamp as well, to be able to read, just as a reading light. You can also have it as a floor stand, which is a great solid base. It comes with an extender pole, depending on whether you're sitting, whether you're standing, wherever you are working, wherever you're stitching, you're going to be able to adjust it. I'll show you, hang on, let's have a look at the box. So floor, just to make sure I've told you everything, floor, table or desk. It has got the rechargeable option, absolutely, as I say. It's got ×2 magnifications. You can use it with the mains or battery operating. It is energy saving as well, because these are LED lights, which means that it will not heat up. It will not get too hot indeed, and you won't need to keep changing balls. What's that, sorry? Where's the magnet? Oh, the magnifying glass. The magnifying glass. Oh, be careful of it in sunlight, Kat's saying. Be careful of that in sunlight. It's got that low heat, low energy, natural daylight effect as well. So it's not like you're working with a fluorescent light, or it's not like you're working with a really yellow lamp either. You're not having to put on your mains lights if you are sewing in a room that everybody else is trying to watch the telly or doing their own thing. This would be really great for somebody as well who may be a model maker or doing jewellery making. I know these are really popular with our sister channel. Any hand sewing or embroidery. I think at this sort of time of year, it is absolutely integral. It's portable, no electricity needed, and a rechargeable battery is incorporated. So whether you're having it, let me spin it around at the bottom here, you can see whether you're having it on the floor, whether you're having it on the table, or whether you want to clip it onto a desk. Just £73.99, which for the quality of the light that you're getting, I think it is brilliant price. Have we got any other lamps without magnifying glasses? Wendy, have a look. Oh, have a look on the website. Have a look on the website, because we do have some on the web actually. We do have a couple of different lamps on there. You can still look on the website. You can still search and get the code or the name of it, and then call the customer service team. Call the customer service team. Same with the cross-stitch things as well. Same with all the cross-stitch bits and bobs. You can still see Token of Love, for example, the name of it. call the customer service team. You just can't click on the items for some reason. We are aware of it though, so thank you for letting us know. I think it's happening throughout the group of Gempori. I think Jewellery Maker having the same problem. So thank you for letting us know, but our technical team are on it. They are on it. Okay, in fact, shall we get Jane on? Because we're so excited to talk to her. We've got some amazing, amazing things to talk to you about. So do not go anywhere. We've got kits galore, some exclusive, some brand new, and some that are back in stock coming up in just a few minutes. So do not go anywhere.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping. Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw, and as a professional sewer, I really know how important it is to use a high quality thread. Well, you think about it. You spend a lot of money on your sewing machine, you'll spend a lot of money on fabric, and you'll spend a lot of time sewing. So why let your thread let you down? I know a lot of our designers and customers prefer to use Aurifil thread. Now, this is a family business. It was established in 1983 and they're based just outside Milan in Italy. They produce superior quality threads for domestic and professional sewers alike, and they've achieved worldwide success with quilters, sewers, embroiderers and textile artists who all appreciate the versatility and the strength of these threads. It's all made from Egyptian cotton, which is grown just at the side of the River Nile, and Aurifil only use the long staple threads, which gives their thread that strength. Each one of these threads goes through 15 steps before it even gets onto a spool and then comes to you to use in your sewing projects. Now at Sewing Street, we've collaborated with Aurifil and we've brought you two collections of threads. So we have the Quilters collection, and these are exclusive to Sewing Street. We've done a lot of research with quilters, and these are the colours that you prefer to use. So we put a whole collection together for you. The second collection is the Essential collection. So this is for the homemakers, for the bag makers, for the craft sewers, for the dressmakers. And again, these have been proven to be the most popular colours that you're going to use. So if you want your projects to last longer and your seams to be stronger, invest in some quality thread. Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay one lot of postage all day? That's one payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness, and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello, my name's Fiona Hessford and I'm founder of Sew Girl. I'm based down in Worthing on the south coast of England, and I've got a range of sewing patterns which I've developed over the last few years, which are projects for loose fitting clothing, everyday simple garments, things that I really love to wear myself. And I'm going to be bringing you them to Sewing Street over the next few months. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.
Hello, welcome back, welcome back. We have got the most exciting day today, and we had technical difficulties, but our technical team are brilliant and they've sorted out all of the little gremlins that we had. So if you missed anything in the last hour, or if you saw something and you thought, oh, if it were on the web, I would have grabbed that, now is the time to go back to the website and you can take anything from that first hour. And of course, well done to everybody who's already snapping up the Cross Stitch Guild kits. I knew this would happen. It's just like yesterday. Yesterday we had, unfortunately, a lot of people missing out, and I was talking to Jane before the show. She was showing me lots of the different kits that actually were on air when Jane was here last that sold out in about 10-15 minutes. So we've got some new and exclusive products. We've got some that have been some of your favourites, some of our favourites, and it's just been ages since we've had a good old chinwag with Jane Greenoff. So send in all of your lovely messages for her, any questions as well. She is such a fountain of knowledge when it comes to cross stitch, and I think this is something that we all need at the moment. Over the last 6 months, 8 months, however long it's been now, I'm losing track. I think it's really good to be able to do something quite mindful and just a bit of slow stitching. You know me, I love my machine and I love my, you know, speedy sewing, but also it's really, really important for our mind to sit and just do a bit of slow sewing, I think, sometimes. So, without further ado, Jane, welcome back. How are you?
I'm fine. You know, keep touching wood. You know, keep touching wood.
It's so good to have you back.
It's lovely to be here. It's lovely to be in the studio.
What do you think?
We have been in well, it's smashing. And there's a green room now, everybody. I wrote something in my magazine recently about putting my makeup on with a little 6-inch mirror, and it, you know, might not have worked very well. So it's really glad to be back in, you know, the real thing. It's
Absolutely.
super.
Hence why Jane looks very glam today,
Thank
telly
you.
ready.
You're telly ready. I love that.
You look gorgeous. And thank you so much for putting together and bringing back some of the most popular kits.
Well, we were completely stuffed last time I was on. Not last time, the previous time, when we had the greenhouse,
Right.
because it just, you know, disappeared. It does just disappear.
This greenhouse is beautiful. We're going to start with it, in fact.
Well, okay. So this all started. I'm going to show a picture now. I don't know if you can just see that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
There you go. That's my greenhouse.
So
That's how it started. Well, when I retired from, I say retired from, it's a joke. When I handed over the management of the Cross Stitch Guild to Andrew Thompson, who's now the owner, and I work for her, one of the things I promised myself was a greenhouse. And this beast, I had my eye on something like this, but it was way out of my budget.
Right.
And my husband and I had a few frank and meaningful discussions about who'd worked hard all these years, and etc., etc. But anyway, the upshot of it was that fortunately this was I'm going to say shop-soiled version. It was the version that was being removed from the garden centre and a new one was coming in.
Right, okay.
So I got it half price.
Brilliant.
So I was very excited, and I have spent many hours in there because prior to this, my garden was an accident waiting to happen, really. We gravelled a lot and put stones and pots because I just didn't have time. And now I have cutting beds, and I've got cosmos flowers taller than me, ladies.
Oh, wow.
There must be one out there that must be 7 foot tall.
Nice.
And I've got dahlias that size that I've, you know,
gorgeous.
so I've really enjoyed it. Anyway, so then having done the greenhouse thing, our editor, Jenny, said, oh, well, we need a stitched one. So this is it.
How difficult is it to design then something like this? I bet it's a long time in the making.
Well, the only aspect of it, I mean, I made a paper one
Okay.
physically to see how the roof worked.
Yeah.
Because when I tried it, there was a big hole in the top where it didn't meet, you know, because I'm not a mathematician. So that was making a shape first in card, so I knew physically what size it would be. It's on a 28 count linen, so it's the same as a 14 Ada, so not too fine. It started off as a little seed box, actually. We had seeds in it in the greenhouse.
Oh, wow.
And then it was so popular that we added the accessories. So it's lined in. This felt is pure wool, and it's hand dyed for us by Oliver Twist, who makes some threads for us as well, as you know. So you get the little greenhouse, and then you've got a needle book. The scissor chatelaine will fit a little pair of
Scissor
scissors.
chatelaine. Oh, I like that word. I've not heard the chatelaine
See
before.
that? Just if I can poke it through the felt. And then it comes through the green scissors. I'll show you what's
Oh,
in the box in a minute. A little pin keep. This just made me smile.
I've never seen. You've not done one of those before, have
Nope.
you? Your retractable tape measure.
No, it
cover.
just I had seen them done, but that's quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah, and really useful as well. All of
yes.
these things that are really useful.
So that's the box, and then this is what you get.
So you can make all of this.
All of
Obviously,
this.
I mean, this is for somebody who
Has stitched before.
Stitched before, absolutely.
It's not complicated. I know that I would say that, but there are things today that are complicated. This is cross stitch and lots of it. There's a
Okay.
few extra stitches, most of which are voluntary, because you don't have to do them. I mean, the trick is to get your flowers in the windows rather than the wrong side of the glass. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And you can make those up as you go along. So let's just go through. As always with Guild products, you get your pre-sorted threads.
Oh, fantastic! Because sometimes I find if you get the threads like this, they can be very similar colours.
Yes. And I
Trying
mean,
to
that's
identify
really
them.
the reason why these are pre-sorted. That's how it started when I first started doing kits 30 years ago. Because if you ask people to sort, I mean, how do you define all those greens?
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, and then people ring to say, I haven't got all the greens, and in fact, they put them on the wrong hole.
Yeah.
So actually, pre-sorting them is the way forward, really. And obviously, there's a lot of greens in there. There's a phone number on the back which is free for the Guild headquarters
Okay.
if the cat disappears with any of your threads. There's the scissors, the tape measure,
Oh, brilliant!
ribbon, buttons. This is actually silk.
It looks like
Silk,
beautiful silk
you know,
dupion.
silk
yeah.
dupion. Yeah, silk dupion, and the felt. And you've got the fabric. Now this fabric, well, you can tell actually. Look at that, perfect.
So this is linen. Did you say?
This is
one?
linen.
Yeah.
It's 28 count linen. I'm going to show you a little bit of 28 in a minute. The orange stripe down the side tells you that it's from Zygarde and Sawitsky, who make the best linen in the world.
Oh, fantastic!
I've been there many times.
I know you're very passionate about having the
You know,
linen that you use.
time is something, you know, none of us have enough of it. And if you're an interested person and you have a lot of hobbies, you have even less. So why waste time stitching on some fabric that's not true or not beautifully woven or not looked after properly? I've watched them make the warps and the wefts of these
wow.
fabrics, and I've watched them make sure they're straight.
Yeah.
And I've watched the woman on a, you know what I mean by a big light box? It's great big like that, but sloping.
Yeah.
These fabrics all go over this box, and any faults are spotted and there's a tag put on. I mean, I've seen it.
How interesting.
So I know that it's the best, really. And then in here, you've got...
all of your instructions.
Yes, there's the chart. So for those of you who are thinking, what is she talking about? This is a counted project. We're going to talk about that a bit more in a minute, but basically your fabric's empty and you transfer this by counting. And all the instructions are here, and there's your accessories. They do print beautifully.
Oh, they do, and it's this is the great thing about technology nowadays, isn't it? That you can see everything so clearly of what colours are where.
When I started drawing for cross stitch, I was using a rotring pen on imperial graph paper with Tipp-Ex and little bits of paper stuck on where I made mistakes. And I drew in symbols. I still to this day don't know how I did that. You know, light green, dark green, and so on. So there's these instructions are, well, these are quite historic really, in that the Cross Stitch Guild was actually formed in 1996. And
you were the founder of the Cross Stitch Guild?
I was the founder, yes. And that started accidentally, really.
Right.
I was at a retail show, and a lady came onto the stand, really upset, tearful. And she'd been elsewhere at the show. I'm not going to say where, but you can work it out for yourself. And she said, I went so-and-so, and they said, my cross-stitch isn't really embroidery. And I was incandescent. You know, look up embroidery in a dictionary, it's not complicated. And so I came home and had a paddy and said I wanted to start a guild for cross-stitchers. In fact, what the guild is for anyone who counts. So counted from a chart, rather than printed on the fabric. And obviously lots of different stitches get in that, which we'll see when I look at the books.
So could anybody become part of the Cross Stitch
Guild?
Yes, yes. Is it somebody who has been stitching for years and years?
No, you have to like it.
Yeah.
That's the criteria.
Yeah.
And pay.
Okay.
You know, but you see, there's my greenhouse, look, there's proof.
Oh, that's your greenhouse, amazing. You can show it towards you, and then the camera,
I've got to remember, new
We've
camera.
got all of these lovely new cameras.
Anyway, there you are,
see.
look. So these are printed for us, and you've got all the instructions.
Oh, they're lovely, thorough instructions.
They are nice, they are nice. I mean, I'm excited by them because these days we have them printed professionally, and the charts, these are generated on my computer program, which is my lifeblood. You know, I'm sitting in front of my computer playing with squares.
Would you call yourself quite a technical whiz now?
No.
No.
No, I'm a complete waste of space if it goes wrong, actually, which it has done this week. It's been messing me about a bit, and I may have to reload the program. But no, I mean, I know the route that I take to get to a point.
Yeah.
It's only a problem when it goes funny. You know?
We should mention about your technical whiz abilities though, because you've now, as well, since the last time I saw you, launched your website.
Well, yes, there's Cross Stitch. The Cross Stitch Guild is where my day job.
Absolutely, yeah.
And on my 70th birthday, it seemed silly to stop work. So I launched a website. So janegreenoff.com, any of you want to go and have a look. It's not just cross stitch. I mean, it's not even just embroidery. Jenny Dixon, who's the guild editor and is responsible for the magazines and the printed word, making sure we do it properly, she suggested I became a finder of treasures, which of course is what I've turned out to be, and it's huge fun.
You're a designer, tutor, author,
yes,
and a designer of treasures.
Now a finder of treasures.
A finder of treasures, which we must talk, in fact, about your latest find. This isn't, when we talk to Jane about your job and your profession, this is where it separates, to just be very, very clear that this is your passion in your life, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want you all to look at this. When some of you are sitting there now saying, I can't see 28 count linen, I'm not going to do counted cross stitch. I need it printed. This sampler I purchased in the last 10 days.
Okay.
As part of a collection that I've purchased. And it's not my favourite, I'll be honest. I've got some very fine early samplers from the 1700s that are my favourites. But it's absolutely adorable. And what's more important is the little girl that stitched this was 6.
Gosh.
She was 6 years old when she did these lovely animals, look.
1852.
In 1852.
So she wouldn't have had a printed...
No, she wouldn't have had a printed. She wouldn't have had an electric light. She wouldn't have had a magnifier. The needles would have been rubbish.
Gosh.
Her nutrition may not have been good, her eyesight may not have been, you know, if
She
you
was
think
6
back.
years old.
But she's got a wonderful cockle. And interestingly, these are collared stags. Now, a collared stag is quite significant in the sampler world. And in fact, there's a book coming out in America about samplers with collared stags.
Okay.
And I have one of them that are in that book at home that was done in 1697, I
Oh,
think.
wow.
Anyway, we bought this to remind you that anybody
We can all do it.
We can all do it. It's not complicated. This would have been counted from probably from a painted chart, which were common in late Victorian times. Originally, they were printed, and then in Germany, they were hand painted with a little square brush.
Gosh, that's so interesting.
So I have brought them in to show you before hand painted charts, and I'll do so again. But yes, so that's done by a child of 6 using wools, and it makes me smile. Rosabella.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how you say that. Caupilo, maybe. Aged 6 years in 1852.
6 years
Isn't
old.
it just
no
adorable?
excuse for any of us. We should
There is
absolutely
no
do it.
excuse.
Well done if you managed to get the greenhouse, by the way. Again, sold out last time. It is extremely limited now. We managed to get as many kits as possible. So do make the most of that whilst you can. It's £60, and it comes in such a beautiful presentation
Yes,
box.
you get a
that
nice
would be
look at
lovely
me.
to gift.
Goosebumps. You see? I told you I need to get out more, didn't I?
Well, it's your
No.
passion, isn't it?
But
You
it
can
is.
feel the
Well, it's a
passion.
lovely thing. I'm planning another box. It's not even on the cardboard phase yet, but I've recently been out to Monet's garden again.
Yeah.
At my 4th visit, I think, seasonally.
Where is Monet's garden?
It's very Giverny, quite near Paris.
Right.
And it was a treat to see the dahlias. I've been out in the spring and I've seen the lilies on the pond, but of course there's a fabulous house with green shutters, and I think it'll have to be a box. But it isn't even, as I said, I haven't even made
Got
the dummy yet.
Though.
But I've got a lot of photographs, yeah.
So where do we want to go next?
I think this
Jane?
is
Token of
something.
love.
This is something brand new.
Is this exclusive? I believe.
This is exclusive. This doesn't exist except here. And this is, it says on the pack here, a gathering of samplers. Now that's about the fact this comes from a Quaker school. The school is based up in near Pontefract, the Ackworth School, and their samplers, which there are many, were stitched by the scholars at this Quaker school from 1782-ish onwards, and are very, very collectible. I was at an antique gallery in Witney within the last 10 days, and one of the samplers was £8,000.
Oh wow!
And it was full of these roundels. If I turn that over as well.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
So these are Quaker patterns. It's got a band round the edge which is not stitched.
Oh, I love it. And is this designed as a pincushion then?
Well, yes, it's a pincushion or a weight. You add a button and hang your scissors on it. This is filled with dry rice.
Okay.
Now, I did have an email from someone who shall remain nameless who asked me how you dried rice.
Oh no.
And so bless her, what you do is you buy it raw. Okay, so this is raw dry rice, which I use a lot. I like the plonk.
Yes.
I like the weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely.
And they stay put.
Pattern weight, absolutely.
So this is pure cross stitch. There's not even a back stitch on it.
And it's only £9, is that correct?
That's whatever you say. I can't. Yes, I haven't got my glasses on. Yes, it is £9.
It's £9.
So you've got
We're actually shocked.
Yeah, well, I think it's lovely. I mean, I was ever so pleased with it. As I said, I've taken these from patterns. The Cross Stitch Guild has permission from the governors of Ackworth School to reproduce, and the school earns some pennies,
Right, okay.
you know, towards the children's benefit. You've got the linen band, you've got unbleached linen, you've got the thread, and you've got a needle, and you've got a chart.
Oh, so there's a needle in there as well.
Oh yes,
Everything that you
everything's
need.
there, ready for you to
Would
stitch.
this be something that if you are new to stitching? Yeah.
Absolutely. I have to say here that if I can just very quickly show, if I just put those two there, this is not to look at the kit, this is just to look at the fabric for a
Can you
minute.
just bring it to your right slightly, please, Jane? That's it, to your right. That's it. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get better. I've got a new camera up here. It's really scary. Right, so this is Ada fabric, and it's in little squares.
Oh, yeah.
And this is linen, which isn't. All right, these are the two main fabrics used for cross stitch. The difference is with this one, each little square on your chart is a square on the fabric. So if you've never stitched before, it's probably the simplest.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know about this when I was taught, so I
Use that
learnt on
straight
this.
to linen.
I learnt on linen.
Does it change the size of the
No,
product?
no.
Because your end result, because it looks like it would.
You don't want it to look chunky, do you? When
No.
your
You want it to
friend
look
does one on
bigger.
linen and it's terribly delicate, and yours is a bit chunky, a bit like this. But no. The point of using these two particular fabrics is that they end up the same size.
Ah, fantastic. That's
So
super.
it's not a beginner's fabric. It's different, and there are occasions when, if I was doing a dogtooth check or a tartan or a gingham pattern or something like that, I'd probably use the Ada because they're very square stitches, and it really does give you a tight look.
So the token of love, is that on linen?
That's on linen,
That's on linen.
and you're going to work over two fabric threads, which I'm going to show you.
Okay. Fab.
Shall I show you
Yes,
now?
please.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're coming back to this little bit in a minute. I'm just going to show you a couple of things on here that might prove useful to you.
A question I've got is, how much thread do you generally use? Is it
Right.
from here
So
to here?
historically, what has happened is, I used to split. That's not what I wanted. Right, bear with me. I'm going to snaffle a piece from here. I'm going to show you this because it's quite useful actually. When you've got your threads on your chart, you can actually just take one. They're made up in sixes because it's stranded cotton, but I can take just one off.
Oh, nice. And that's not going to tangle everything.
So not going to tangle, and the cat isn't going to get it, and you still know which one it is.
That's a good idea.
So that's quite useful. So that's that. So these are 80 centimetres long, and that's historic because I used to get 10 out of a skein. So that was how that happened. Now I'm going to fold one in half, so I've got a loop at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm obviously never going to spit because it's a disgusting habit. And obviously during these times,
Absolutely, yeah.
one has to bear that in mind. No one else is going to get this. It's going to come home with me. Right, so I've threaded my needle with the two loose ends, and I've got the little loop at the bottom.
Yeah.
All right, we're happy?
Yep, so there's no knot.
There's exactly. Now we do use knots, but in a specific way, which I'll show you. So on this is 28 count linen, so this is exactly the same as we're talking about.
Same as the greenhouse as well.
Same as the greenhouse, in fact identical to the greenhouse as
Brilliant.
well. So I'm going to bring my needle up through the fabric with the loop on the back, and I'm going to cross. Now I know Paulie will shout at me if I lean too far.
Just slightly too far, he's saying. That's it, perfect.
So can you see there, I've crossed two fabric threads.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to lift it and check I have. Yep. Right, so that's half across. I'm going to turn it over and pass the needle through the loop.
If you could just move to the right slightly again, Jane. Thank you. There we go, you can see it really clearly now.
So now what I've done is I've done a half cross. Whoops. Oh, just to prove it happens to us all. I'll do that again. Right, cross over two fabric threads. 1, 2. Go through to the back.
You must have a fantastic eyesight though. You don't
Actually, I can't see the bus coming. And actually, here we have the glasses. Interesting, I can stitch very now what happens is I can stitch very well without my glasses, and do. But then, of course, I can't see afterwards.
Right.
And the difference between the fabric, the computer and the chart, accommodating, you know, my eyes don't accommodate. And I've got a cataract coming, so. Right, so there we are. That's how you can start without a knot. Okay, so that's the size that the cross stitch will appear on a 28 count linen. I work without a frame. If I've got a big project, you must do what you choose.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of hoops. I can always tell when one of my stitchers has used a hoop, even though I say please don't, because there's a stretch in the fabric. You can see it.
Okay. And is that across Ada and linen? You can see.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. I notice it more with linen.
Okay.
And sometimes I have to wash it to press them to get the mark out. So I don't like hoops, but that's really just a personal decision. But if you don't like them and you want to try, if I've got a big project, like we're going to talk about in a minute, the Dutch one,
Oh, lovely.
I would roll up the fabric and be working like so, so that my hands are on the back of the material. So I work my crosses in 2 journeys. Now, when we come to talk about the stitch book and the cross stitcher's Bible in a minute, if I don't go on too long, all these things are explained in there, and they're in all the kits have got these instructions as well. So I work my crosses and then go back again. I find it quicker. The tension stays fine. Sometimes you need to twist your needle slightly because you're obviously turning the thread, but it also gives you those lovely straight lines on the back, which are lovely for finishing off your stitching. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So you
Right.
go back through all those stitches to
Those
finish
loops
it off.
just to finish off. So going back to the love token, all this, the greenhouse, all those things are cross stitch worked in the hand, working backwards and forwards.
I
Now,
find it ever so therapeutic. I bet a lot of people have come to you over the last 6 months.
I think that, yes, certainly during this time, I think a lot of people have come back to stitching from what I see and the emails I get. And actually the Cross Stitch Guild has been extremely busy.
Yeah.
And if you think that there have been 2 shows that we haven't been able to go to. There have been 2 Cross Stitch Guild weekends, both had 60 people booked, but couldn't be held.
Yeah.
The next one next month can't be held.
Oh, it's
So
sad.
lots of things are not there, and yet the site has been extremely busy
Yeah.
because people need.
Absolutely. We need something to do and something that's mindful as well. As
Yes,
I said
and you
earlier
can
on, we
take
all
time
love,
off.
you know, we live at 1,000,000 miles an hour in this fast-paced world.
Absolutely.
It's good to do something slow
It is
sewing.
the actual stitching bit is my therapy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm designing and I'm creating or I'm buying or whatever I'm doing, photographing, writing words, which I don't find that easy. I struggle a bit with some of it. So writing instructions, obviously, but actually the thing that just drops my shoulders is actually the stitching.
Oh, it is
Which
so
I do
relaxing,
all the time.
therapeutic. It's a great way to get started with this kit. It's the most affordable kit that we've got for you today, and it is exclusive to us.
And very sweet and historical. You know, children did these and gave them to friends and acquaintances.
I love that.
And if I'd thought about it, and I didn't, and I'm very sorry, everybody, but I have got an Ackworth pinball, which is that size. Which
You've brought that in before, haven't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. So shall we go to the Dutch one now?
Absolutely, yes.
I'm
This
going to
wall
get it
sampler.
down.
Absolutely, please do.
I'm going to
It's
completely
beautiful.
throw Paulie.
Now, you said earlier on that we would be doing something for those regular stitches. This is more complex, isn't it?
There is more in this.
Okay.
It is masses of cross stitch. Dutch samplers are often like this. We sort of refer to them as spot motif samplers. So things don't necessarily have a relationship like the cockerel and the sailing ship of funny sizes, but very common in Dutch samplers. Baskets of fruit, trapped birds, various different things. There was a salt container somewhere, but I can't see it there. It's a little salt container. What's particularly interesting about this sampler is this row of stitches here. So I'll just move myself along a bit. So this one can be worked on linen or Ada.
We've got 2 different kits, haven't we?
Yes.
Linen and Ada.
I will, now I always say that these bags are stuck with elephant spit, which I'm sure isn't true.
The
Well, we
scissors
used to have
definitive.
things nicked from them in the days when our things were in big department stores, you know. Charms and things would go walkabout. So I'm afraid they had to be stuck.
Well, you get so many different details in your kits. There's so much love and so much attention that goes into it. Everything is in there. Once again, all your stranded cottons.
Yes, and
everything.
aren't these colours lovely?
Gorgeous.
I mean, you know, this is my first love, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The samplers, and sort of muted colours. Now, in fact, when you look at antique samplers, if you're fortunate enough to have one, or you go, I can remember going to the Georgian House in Bristol, where they have a fine collection of samplers, and they're not actually muted colours. They're quite strong colours,
Right.
but they've been out of daylight and they've been stored, so they haven't faded. So we tend to produce samplers that have the faded look
yeah.
because it's what we like. So that's lots of super muted colours there,
They're beautiful.
mounted with the shade numbers there, and as always with a free phone number on the back.
Now, even if you don't want to do the whole sampler, what I love about it is that you can take
You
elements.
can pick bits.
couldn't you?
Well, I think once you've got it, that's the thing about samplers. If you look at this, you've got all these different patterns.
Yeah.
Any one of these would look absolutely smashing on a card.
And I think a lot of us think, right, how many of these can I frame? But there's so many different elements. You could incorporate it into lots of different
Pin cushions,
sewing
needle
projects.
books,
Yeah.
all sorts of things, absolutely. Cover a tape measure, you know, that would go on a tape measure. So I got fabric again. You can see the stripe.
So is this the linen option that
And
you're
this is the
holding?
linen option. Now just look at this chart. I mean, when I think back to the charts I had in my kits in 1983,
Yeah.
I am acutely embarrassed because they were photocopied graph paper then. But you know, if I just tell you, this is absolutely true. When I was introduced to the cross-stitch program that I now use, I'm on a slightly generation later or whatever, but Jo Verso, who some of you will remember, who was one of the most talented modern cross-stitch designers, who we lost about 15 years ago in a car crash. She was extremely clever, and she produced a book called Picture It in Cross-Stitch, which sold 500,000 copies in English, which for a needlework book is staggering. Now, she rang me to say, there is a cross-stitch program out there, you're going to love it, you need one. So I've got the bloke, I've told him, he can come here, he can demonstrate it, he can bring the computer, the printer, everything, and then I'll pay him. But I'm not going to buy a computer, I need him to deliver.
Yeah.
So I gave him the same treatment, poor man, and I paid £5,000 and a penny.
Which in those days would have been
It was a lot of money.
lot,
It's a lot
yeah.
of money. Well,
It is a lot of money now,
You
but
couldn't spend
for a
it on a
computer,
computer
yeah.
now.
No.
Not a high street one. But I got a great big monitor that way. That was also that deep.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
pre-Pentium. I had a black and white printer, a colour printer, the cross-stitch program, and a Word program. Now, the Eye Stitch program, I think, is about 30 quid.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But look at this.
If you turn it
Isn't it
towards
fun?
you again.
Oh
thank
yes,
you.
got to remember we've got the right way up now. Sorry, Paul. There we
Is
go.
this right?
So you've got your symbols and colour
Oh,
here.
beautiful. And it's slightly larger than what it will
Yes.
come out as well, which is good.
Yes, what you have to remember is the chart bears no resemblance to the finished piece. It's the count of the fabric.
Okay.
So if you work this on 40 count, it will be significantly smaller, and so on. You also get a black and white one. Now that's really, for those of you, and I'm certainly one of them, who quite like to colour in with a pencil, the ones I've done. Less so on this, probably, because you can see, tonight I'm going to work the cockerel. And the phone rings and you're still working the cockerel. But if you're doing something very complex, a big bouquet of flowers or something, it's quite useful to colour in as you go along.
Absolutely,
So you
yes.
see where you've been, you know?
Because this isn't something that you're necessarily going to do in a day.
You're not
It's
going to
just
finish it in a
something-
day,
yeah,
no.
absolutely.
And you've got, obviously you've got your instructions. Now, I want to just quickly show you, and just so that you know, all of us are fallible. I had to unpick quite a lot just now, but this will be quite a useful exercise for you. I'm just going to show you here. Let me just move it across so we can get the camera in the right place. If I shunt it along a bit. This alphabet here. Okay, now that's a stitch called Algerian Eye. Commonly used on ancient samplers. A very attractive stitch. It takes the space of 4 cross stitches. So if you imagine, if you work that letter or any of these letters in cross stitch, they would be 1/4 of the size. So that's perfect, that single alphabet. It's not the complete alphabet you know. On Dutch samplers it rarely was. What is there missing? No J, O, P, Q, no Q, no V. So this is taken from an original sampler. Now I've got a piece of stitching here to show you. I'll pop it on top. So this is a piece of linen. It's a fractionally larger one than this one, but only fractionally. And this is the Algerian Eye Stitch. And I'm going to show you how you make one. This is where I made a mistake and had to unpick, for which I do apologise. I was trying to copy, I'd got a picture of this sampler on my phone in the green room, trying to make the B large enough to see it. I wasn't doing a very good job. Anyway, I'm going to just show you. I'm going to bring my needle up. The trick with this stitch is that you're going to occupy, let me just get my eye in first.
Once you've got your eye in, if you wouldn't mind leaning back just slightly, thank you.
Right, so the stitch is made, and this is the important bit. Always go down the hole in the middle when you're making this stitch, and you'll see what happens in a minute. I'm going to tug now, because what I want is a hole in the middle, not on the sides. So I'm coming in there, and I'm going to tug. So this is what is referred to as a pulled stitch.
Oh, what, sorry?
Pulled.
Pulled stitch. Oh, I've not heard of a pulled stitch.
It's interesting because we have got stickers that say cross stitches can't pull. So here we go. I'm pulling as I go out of the hole, and each time I'm going, have I missed one? No. Bear with me a second. Pull. So what I'm endeavouring to get is a perfect round hole in the centre of the stitch that I should be able to look through. So you don't want them around the edges, you want them...
No.
And obviously I would be looking a bit closer to this if I was...
Yeah, sorry, if we didn't have
telly.
Paul in your ear.
If I didn't have Paul in my ear, exactly. Yeah, actually that has worked, look. If I go through there again. So the Algerian Eye is that stitch. And if you look there, there's a distinct hole. Now, commonly, this stitch would be done in the same colour as the fabric. So you'd see the hole, not the stitch.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's often used self-coloured. And then when you go on to the next one of these, you don't want to cover the hole up with your thread as you move.
Is this similar to hardanger?
Well, this stitch is used when you do hardanger embroidery as well.
Right,
that's where you've met it.
Yes.
It's a counted stitch that's used a lot in samplers. And if I just grab very quickly the stitch book, I will show you the illustration.
What edition is this, Jane?
This is the fourth.
4th edition.
And final. Yes, there is a reason. What am I looking for? Algerian Eye.
I know that you still need to flick to this sometimes, don't you?
Absolutely. I was flicking to it last night, I have to tell you.
Which is brilliant, isn't it? Because if you think, actually, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're beginner or whether you've been stitching for years.
That's how this book started, really. There's a stitch I sometimes use, and I can't show you today. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. This little stitch here round
Oh,
the
yeah.
edge of the needle book. Can you just see that? It's a very useful little stitch, and you can cut off close to the fabric, right? When I start doing that stitch, I go, and I get the book out. Because I just cannot remember which way I do it. So
I like that it's ring bound as well, because you can work
well,
from
that's
it.
why this is the last of these, because I can't get any more pages in this ring binding. Apparently, my printer tells me.
Okay.
So it would have to be a third larger, which would mean another 10, and then it stops being a pocketbook. So whether I do another book or not, but so this is the Algerian eye diagram, and I wanted to show you this because these are designed for us by our wonderful Ethan Danielson.
Oh, this is really clever.
He's really clever. He was the one that made it possible for us to see a diagram where you can see where the needle goes. And you see the diagrams I looked at in 1983,
Gosh.
the fabric wasn't there. It was, the little star was there, but it was blank. So you couldn't really tell how to do the stitches.
That's really clear.
So this is, you know, there's no doubt. You're going down the centre hole. You either go clockwise or anti-clockwise, whichever you prefer. Try to keep it consistent, because it always looks nicer if you do.
How has Ethan transferred it? Did you take a photograph or show him how it is that it works?
I think with this one I'm not certain. In some cases I do a bit and send him a picture. Often I'll find 2 or 3 versions. That hem stitch was a classic example. I found an American version, a very old version in a pulled thread book, and I took photocopies of all of them and said, well, this is the rough.
With you.
We want one that obeys the rules. So with hemming, the Cross Stitch Guild came up. To retrace just quickly, we had a technical director until, well, the first 15 years of the Guild, a lady called Sue Hawkins, who's the most talented embroideress. And she inspected stitch diagrams and the numbering.
Okay.
And if that wasn't right, it was whizzed backwards and forwards a lot. She was really strict. And the idea was to get a sort of standard way of doing things, so it made it easier. So when we do hem stitch, the stitches are always straight on the front and diagonal on the back. And it's a way of learning a technique, because there are so many versions.
Well, there are so many stitches. I know when I first heard about cross stitch, you think that it's literally
It's cross stitch and cross stitch and cross stitch.
But it goes on and on and on, doesn't it?
It does go on and on and on. And so this is a, the idea of this was, this book was out of print, the Cross Stitcher's Bible. Now that was originally published in 2000 and went into 10 languages.
Wow.
I am
what
Jane
an
Greenoff.
achievement.
In
Your name
Russian.
changed in
Yes.
different languages. That's
It's
strange.
really weird. I've got a bookcase. If you get a chance to look at janegreenoff.com, just go to the jottings, which is where I warble on. And there's a little bit about becoming an author. And there's pictures of my bookcase with all my titles in it, which looks terribly posh, but actually there's lots of foreign editions of different books. And there's Greenoff and Billy's Bilovi.
Oh, do you know what language that is?
I can't remember, because we've
Kat's
got a
looking now.
Hungarian, Russian, we've got a Chinese version, which is really weird. All sorts of different
Gosh, how
French.
incredible. Here they are, look, you can see them all there.
Oh, look, well done. I'm so impressed, Paulie. That's very clever. There you are. That's my bookcase at home.
Oh, we've got, honestly, so if you start Googling Jane Greenoff too much, though, you'll then find videos of...
Oh, God.
Can you just tell everybody the
I'll
story
tell
from
them.
last
night? Well, some time ago, I had an email from an American lady to say, did I know that I was sending people to sleep in America? And I didn't know that, so I asked more questions. And apparently, there is a collection of videos you can watch if you're an insomniac. And I'm one of them, which wasn't my intention when I did the videos. Anyway, last night, I can't remember, I was looking for something on YouTube, actually to play while I was doing a task, getting ready for today. And I'm on there,
This
you
is
see.
brilliant.
And I went, oh. And it was under ASMR, did we decide
I
it was
think
called?
that's what we found it was.
And it had 137,000 views. and then
you do have a
read,
very calming voice.
Then you read through the words, and it's
the
all about me
comments.
putting people to sleep.
And it's not because of what you're saying, it's because of the tone of your voice.
It must be some. Yes, I'm telling myself that it's something to do with the voice. So if you look on YouTube, you'll find it, and there are some really funny quotes. Apparently, Lady Diana would have been me if she'd made 70.
Oh, brilliant.
They knew I was English because, I can't remember now. One of them was I came straight out of a Cracker Barrel.
I did read that you're the what's the name? The Bob Ross of the
cross-stitch world. I can't remember. Anyway, there's hundreds of comments. Apparently, my hair, purple stripe, is because I was a Hellcat. If only someone had told me.
I love it. How many views did you say this has had?
37,000 odd. And there's about 400 comments. And I mean, some people say, oh, really? It's not all fluffy, but there's lots to say, well, I'm off to buy kits tomorrow and all I wanted to do was go to sleep.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes, so that's not what I expected. Sorry, where were we?
Yeah, we digress.
Sorry, everybody.
So the exclusive, sorry, Kat.
Yes.
So we had the exclusive with the token of love. Can we just come back to that very briefly, just because it is going to sell out? If you have got it in your basket, check out now. It's the most affordable kit that we've got over the 2 hours with Jane.
So it's two-sided. All of these little motifs come from the Ackworth School. Go to the Cross Stitch Guild website and just look up Ackworth because you'll find out about the school.
Oh, brilliant.
This year, actually, earlier this year, the school was celebrating its special anniversary, and Andrew's going to kill me because I can't remember if it's 250 years or more. But we did an anniversary, I designed an anniversary item for them with the school in detail, and these medallions, half medallions if you could imagine, as the side borders. But of course they wanted it for a Founders' Day, which they couldn't have because of COVID, so that was a shame.
I love the fact that it's historic though as well, like you say, there's lots of meaning to it, and especially with these times that we're in at the moment, it would be a lovely gift for somebody, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, and I think it's when you're given something that's been stitched by somebody, it is quite profound actually. When I was given a teddy and a hat when my daughter Lou was born, my whoops-a-daisy baby, when I had her, I had this beautiful teddy with a hat stitched by a male friend. Oh. And I've still got it. You couldn't part with it.
It's so sentimental, absolutely.
Because you can buy anything. You can go and buy. Anyone can go and buy.
Mm-hmm.
But to actually spend the time, I think is just super.
Absolutely. Do make the most of that because, as I say, that is about to sell out, as well as the Dutch samplers as well, and the greenhouse. Everything is incredibly limited. We are going to move on to the autumn needle roll now.
Yes, I'm going to show this.
So beautifully delicate.
This is not a first project. Now I've put that out there. Right way up, Jane.
Thank you.
So this is a little needle roll for you to keep your needles in.
Oh, so
Comes
it's really
with
useful
a
as well.
little charm. So this is like a little band, but there's a lot of different techniques on here, all counted. The instructions are all in here. You've got the felt, you've got some hand-painted silk, you've got beads, a little scissor charm, linen.
What stitches are we looking at in this
Right,
one,
I'm going to start at this end. So we've got bullion knots, French knots.
Careful of your head, sorry.
Yes,
again.
sorry.
Thank
sorry.
you. No, I'm sorry.
Right, bullion knots, French knots, beads, buttonhole bars. This is tied hem stitch, which looks very clever, but actually isn't. As long as you can count to 4, you'll be able to do that. That's 4-sided stitch. That's queen stitch. I have heard certain cross stitchers refer to this as bitch stitch. You don't want to have to unpick it. You really don't. You cut it out and start again. But it's very pretty. I first saw that stitch at the Borough Collection in Glasgow. Lulu was about 6 and had a broken arm, I remember. And I didn't know she had an arm broken at that point. I was busy looking at the samplers.
Lulu's your daughter, isn't
yes.
she? Yeah.
And I didn't realise her arm was broken.
Because you were looking at samplers.
Because I was busy looking at samplers. I gave her a sling and told her not to be so silly.
Oh.
And carried on looking at samplers. And where I saw one of these, this stitch was done showing a little strawberry. And the sampler collection there, they have a lot of 17th century, very special samplers, and they're on the wall without glass, so you can get up and see them. And that's where I learnt that stitch. And this is a similar sort of stitch here. This is tied in groups of 4. So, and plus this hem I've just mentioned. And again, all the instructions are in the pack. I did this as a class for 12 originally, way back, and everybody finished.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's all good. So that's the little autumn roll. As I said, it's not a first piece, but it's counted. There's quite a lot of cross stitch on it as well. But it's one that you would need to have worked from a chart before and worked on linen before.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think you'd get cross with it.
Well, there's a lot of stitches, and you want people
supposed to be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You want someone to come back and have a
Absolutely.
go at other things. You don't want to put them off in their first project. So, absolutely. I've had lots of pictures come through, by the way, from people who have done your projects before. Let's have a look at this one. This is from Carol in Durham. She said, "Morning, ladies.
Well
Always
done.
look forward to Jane's show." She says, "Here's just a few of Jane's kits that I've made. Some waiting to be framed. I still have some kits waiting to be started, and Jane has opened my eyes to sewing on linen, which I now prefer."
It always happens.
Oh, I love it. The houses one. That was
The
one of my
houses,
favourites.
that's the. Now, if you look to the top of that group of pictures, top right, that's
yeah.
an Ackworth project again. In fact, we've got them lurking.
I think, do you know, if you have a look on the website, we haven't got the graphic for it today, but I believe there are about 10 of these
There's a
available.
few left, look. So that's one of the ones that this lovely lady, whose name I've just forgotten already. Carol, well done, Carol. And she's done the Blackwork Street as well, which we had on air last time, I think. So well done, they're lovely, and I agree with you.
The Blackwork Street completely sold out, so we'd love to get some more of those.
Mastered linen, I don't think you go back. It's you know, I'm a terrible snob, all right? I wear linen, you know, I'm a perpetual crumpled heap.
I always use your line though. It's rich wrinkles.
Wrinkles.
I'm not creased, I'm just
no,
rich
wrinkles. Linen is also marvellous if you're a ladies of a certain age, because it can get really wet before it feels it. You know, when you
Yes.
all of that going on. Just
the
very,
Quaker, sorry to interrupt.
go.
You know the Quaker kit, Kat was just telling me that. I think there's a couple of different colourways that are available. If you type in Cross Stitch Guild, you've got the Alphabet Quaker or the Berry Blush Quaker.
So there's a few left from when I was on air before. But this is what I meant about the medallions. And Token of Love look, which is exactly what we've got here. These are done in a space-dyed silk, so although the colours change, you're only working with one colour in your one skein.
Oh, fantastic. They're both on the website, but literally very limited if you do want to grab those. Thank you so much, Carol, for your pictures.
Yes,
in
thank
fact,
you.
I encourage, for today, it's lovely to be able to see all of your kits, isn't it?
It's smashing to see them done.
Studio@sewingstreet.com if you want to send in any of your pictures, because I know Jane would love to see them as well.
I'm back at 11, so we can have another look.
Yeah.
As regards, you know how people do something, suppose I was showing you this, you'd say, no, and you go like that.
No one ever looks at the back though, do they?
Oh yes, they do.
Do they?
They
You should slap them,
if they do it to me at a show, I smack their hands. I'm not kidding. But the thing about the back is not unless you're doing a reversible sampler, which we're not, but they are out there. But if you look at the back of this piece that I've been doing here, if I turn that over, it's not reversible, but it is very similar. And the reason is not because I'm being picky, it's because when you mount that, you'll see the threads and the bumps and the knots and the bits of rubbish.
Is that the same through Ada as well, or is linen more
I think
likely
linen's more like it, but certainly when you press things, we'll talk a little bit about pressing if I've got time. I'm not wearing a watch, so
No,
this is
we're all
okay,
good.
all good. When I press cross stitch, I have 4 layers of bath towel. I have a white bath towel, it's in my laundry cupboard. 4 layers on the ironing board. You go onto the back of your embroidery and use your steam iron.
Yeah, because you do not want to press that,
Don't press the front.
It. No.
And you want the depth. Now, if you've been using something like here, the space-dyed thread, although I've never, well, that's not true, once I was caught out, but not with this make, where colour didn't run, it galloped.
Okay.
Right? If I was going to press this, I would put this on the table. I'd have a white tissue which I would dampen, and I'd press the stitching really hard with my thumb like that. And if there's any colour on the tissue, I don't use the steam button.
Right.
And don't wash it.
Yeah, because it could run onto
Because
your
it could
linen.
run. But all the stranded cottons we use, America they call it floss, and people do refer to them as embroidery silks, which they're not. These are colour fast.
Oh, fantastic. You haven't had any problems with those. Brilliant. Can we move on to that? We've got about 5 minutes, and we'd love to show the gold-plated needles set, talking about threads tried and tested and needles tried and tested. Now, for anybody who is thinking, right, gold-plated needles, is this a bit of a novelty?
I was really rude about them when I first heard about them.
When was it? Take us back to when you first heard about them.
Lulu was a baby. She was 5 months old and she's 32.
Okay.
Okay. And we were in America staying with my distributor out there. And she took me on a day visiting needle workshops. And I mean, I was completely, I don't know if gobsmacked is not a very polite expression, but frankly, it's the only way I could describe. Seeing a shop with 9 colours of blue linen, whereas at home we could get cream, cream or cream. So, you know, it was staggering. Anyway, I was introduced in the shop to a gold needle by this lady in Orange County, California. And I sort of smiled, you know, knowingly, about Americans being a little over the top or something like that, very rude. And she said, no, seriously, try one, you'll never go back. And I, okay. She said, in second thought, she said, I'm going to give you 2 to try and I want you to ring me tomorrow. So that night, I tried one and stripped the gold off.
Okay.
And then I tried the other one and it was just amazing, you know.
What difference did you feel?
Well, it slid through the fabric. I was doing French knots like they were coming out, you know, it just la-la-la, no tangles. I tend to make nickel plating. I tend to, it doesn't hurt me, but I tend to get black marks on the needle, you know. So I was very interested and thought a bit more about it. And when I got back to the UK, I rang my needle supplier and said, I'd like some gold-plated needle, please. And they just laughed at me. And so I spent, it was long before the internet, so I spent an afternoon on the phone and eventually found a man called Jeff Bradshaw who worked for a firm in Coventry. He said, well, all right then, we'll gold plate 1,000 needles for you.
Okay.
Which was a lot. And I sent him a pack of loose thousands. And he said, you've got to tell me how much gold you want. And of course, I had no idea.
Well, what does it come in?
I mean, you know,
How
pounds,
many
ounces.
layers,
yes,
or what do you think?
I don't know. So he said, well, British Nuclear Fuels and the Ministry of Defence have 2 microns. He said, the gold won't come off if you have 2 microns. I said, well, that's what I want then.
Yeah, military standard.
Military standard. And it turned out to be the detonators for grenades.
Oh, my word.
Gold plated to 2 microns. Anyway, so that was what I did and worked out the cost. And we sold 3 in a box. As I said, we're talking a long time ago now. And I remember going on and on about how wonderful they were to reps from one of the bigger manufacturers, which was a bit stupid. So sure enough, 6 weeks later, they had also got gold needles. Yeah. And I was very disappointed, actually, and thought, oh, well, you know, learn a lesson. A bit silly of me. And then within weeks, there were letters in the stitching press to say, oh, don't get those needles, they're rubbish. The gold just comes off. And then the editor was putting, well, not if you get Jane Greenoff's. Oh, and it was magic. So I don't want to tell you how many we've sold over the years. They go off to be done in a size. We get them back less about 6, which go in a file somewhere. My husband and I followed them through once in the gold plating place and watched what they did, and the special machine that samples go in to test how much gold's on them.
Right.
We get a little certificate with each batch, and if for any reason I've economised and bought cheaper nickel needles and the gold doesn't go on properly, I get a short note and it comes back. So I haven't done that again. And so our needles come from John James, who make needles.
We know
them here. And we get them gold plated individually and the gold doesn't come off. If you strip the gold off one of my needles and you can prove you bought it from us, we'll replace it.
That's how confident you are.
Absolutely.
I love that. Now,
I have
what needles do you get in here? Because they're
So
different
this is,
sizes.
well, there's 2 sets today. The one we've often had is on at 11.
Yeah.
This one is not exactly a beginner's set. They are a considered purchase, I think.
Could you lean it forward slightly? That's perfect.
How's that look? Is
Great.
that better?
Yeah, that's perfect.
So in there, this is a little cross-stitch set, especially for those of you who've not done much of this yet. So you've got a nice sharp pair of Italian scissors, and you've just got 4 gold-plated needles. And there's the sizes then. There's 226 and 224s. The higher the needle, the higher the number, the finer the needle.
Okay.
Now I work with a 26. When we look at the other set at 11, we've got a 28 in there. That's really for one strand and for doing backstitch. So if you force too many through the eye, it'll break.
They're a really good price though as well, aren't they? $14.99.
Well, I think so, yes. I mean, you know, you can buy very cheap needles.
Yeah.
But when you've used these, you'll never go back.
Oh, brilliant.
And that's what ladies tell me, you know. On some occasions in the past, we've given gold needles as the gift to members when they resub. And no one's ever turned them down because they've already got some. They just because they just use them all the time.
And they'll last.
They'd last, yes. And if you've got a nice box, and then, you know, when you've got the hang of some of this stuff, you can keep them in one of the things you've made.
Absolutely. Oh, there's a lot of people who are checking out those. Just messaging, I've got a lot of messages coming in about, well, sending in lots of photographs. In fact, talking about coming up what's in 11 o'clock, we've got some of the Wattbow kits back. Good morning, all at Sewing Street. I just wanted to share my Wattbows with a difference. I love that.
Wow,
I love making
it.
these, but I decided to make 4-season Wattbows to a small wall hanging. That's a great idea.
My goodness.
One of my best friends is moving in from our village to a new home 80 miles away. On the reverse of the hanging, I've embroidered, no matter what the weather does, the seasons will always have the same in Herefordshire and Wiltshire. Oh, love that.
Wow.
It says, thank you for all of your lovely kits. That's as regards from Helen. What a great idea.
Helen, that's absolutely... So the Wattbows which you get... Oh, there you are. They're going to be on your screen.
Yeah, these are the Wattbows.
They're a 3-sided piece, each one being in a season. And so Helen's obviously individually worked the squares as a wall hanging. That's smashing. I really like it. Thank you for showing us.
Love getting all your pictures through. Keep
I
them
do
coming
too.
in because we'll show Jane more of them at 11 o'clock.
Yes, I'm back at 11.
We never have enough time with you. I can't believe the first hour's done. We've got lots to do though in the 11 o'clock hour as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank
back
you.
soon.
Yes, we'll see you in an hour. The Token of Love, just so you know, has completely sold out. The Dutch sampler at the moment, again, is very, very limited indeed, as well as the greenhouse that could sell out in the next few minutes. So do spend the next couple of moments checking out your basket. I know when we're watching, Jane, it's hard to sort of then multitask because we're so enthralled by all of your stories. So if you do have any messages for us, any questions for Jane, or you want to check out your order, now's the time to do it. Absolutely, we'll see you in an hour. Do not go anywhere. Kat has put together some amazing fabric bundles for you. Lots of new bundles coming up, so we'll see you after this. If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello everyone, I'm Delphine Brooks. It's so great to be here and part of the Sewing Street family. I'm local, I'm only down the road in Warwickshire. I started sewing many years ago when I was very young, doing lots of art and painting, and eventually I went into textiles and I really enjoyed doing the two together. I then had a bit of a break. Something you don't know about me maybe is that I spent many years in the Royal Air Force and eventually in the police as well. And then I went full circle and I've come back to my happy place of sewing, and which I really enjoy. My best sewing tip is measure twice and cut once. I have chipped up a couple of times by not measuring properly, and I do always regret it, so now I always measure twice, cut once. Anyway, I really hope to be with you again soon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rosie Wells.
My name's Poppy and I'm a nutritional therapist.
Hi, I'm Ruth Lynette and I can't wait to join you all on the brand new Gemporia Lifestyle channel.
If you're a fan of primal living, you're going to adore what's around the corner.
What is lifestyle? Lifestyle is healthy habits.
Feeling good, it's about looking great,
Making sure that we're taking good care of ourselves inside.
and it's about the life that you lead and the home that you live in.
All of this is why I'm so excited. We've got the most wonderful team.
Homeware deals and primal deals under one roof on one channel.
I can't wait to share this brand new channel with you. So we'll see you soon on Gemporia Lifestyle.
Gemporia Lifestyle, coming soon to Freeview Channel 74 and gemporia.com.
Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay one lot of postage all day? That's one payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Hello everyone, my name's Cara Ackerman and I'm absolutely delighted to be here at Sewing Street. I actually originated from Hertfordshire, then went down to Hampshire and then it ended up in the East Midlands. I've been in the East Midlands for about 40 years now, which seems crazy, but 36 of those I actually worked with DMC Creative World, which was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that. And then I decided to go freelance, and that's how I got introduced to Sewing Street. I love doing anything to do with textiles, so embroidery, cross stitch, patchwork, done a bit of quilting, bag making, toy making, oh goodness, there's loads and loads of things. What I love doing is just trying something new, and I think one of the tips is don't be frightened of trying something new. You always learn from it, and you know, don't be scared of making mistakes either. We all learn from the mistakes that we make. Little bit about me that you might not know, and that's a bit of a surprise. I once went to the garden party down at Buckingham Palace, the Queen's garden party, for some work that I did with Marie Curie. I was so lucky to go there, and just a wonderful time. So I hope to see more of you on Sewing Street, and I hope to try lots of new crafts with you. So see you again soon. Bye-bye.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Welcome back. Oh, we were just saying in the break, how amazing is it to have Jane Greenoff back? We absolutely adore her. She's just such an amazing fountain of knowledge and brings to us the best kits ever. Lots of people already checking out on the cushion that you can see behind me. It's gorgeous. Paula, we've got your question and we'll make sure that we ask her in the next hour. Kat says, I promise, so I'll ask her in the next hour. She says, so sorry that hour slipped away from her, but we will absolutely ask your question at 11 o'clock. We've still got another hour with her, don't forget. Now, we've got this hour, lots of different fabric bundles, great stash building show, and something a bit different. Kat's put together some really, really great bundles that I've not seen before. I told you yesterday, didn't I? She's named them beautiful names as well, and she does arm movements along to go with it. So Bursting Sunset, and what was the other one? Evening Sky. It's literally like that when she told me them. So do you realise that you just did this like you're in a dramatic boy band? And she says, I am a thespian. That's what I do as I talk. Okay, so Let's start with a lovely neutrals bundle. We always talk about these that are great solid colours that are always on our website, but we have never done a bundle like this, I don't think. We've done like monochromy ones. Oh, in fact, I think we did something similar once before and it's sold out in a heartbeat. These are brilliant colours to be able to add to your stash. £23.49 and you're getting half a metre of each of these. They've already been pre-cut, ready to go. Half a metre of white, half a metre of black, half a metre of all of your greys. I'll go through all of the individual names with you just in case you want more of them on the web. So we've got half a metre, sorry, not of white, half a metre of ivory, half a metre of cream, half a metre of nude, half a metre of silver, half a metre of elephant, half a metre of dark grey, and also half a metre of black. All of these, the most beautiful array of colour. Now, whether you sort of choose to use these all in a project together with some great bright colour threads, or you want to applique on top of them, or they are, you know, individual for different projects, this is going to be something that you're definitely going to use all of those colours. These greys, these three, we've been really struggling to get hold of those recently. So to be able to have all of them in a bundle, now is the time to grab it. They'll already come pre-cut, so if you're multi-buying on this bundle, they're already cut into half metre pre-cuts, just to make you aware. Oh, imagine doing like a beautiful bargello in this. It would be really dramatic, wouldn't it? Or teaming it with any of, you know, like the Tula Pinks that we've had over the last couple of days, and the Lewis and Irene, the charm squares that we've seen. Just seeing bright colours along with your neutrals really makes those bright colours sing. So they're an absolute staple part of your stash. £23.49 for 3.5 metres of your neutrals. Beautiful. Remember, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half metre pre-cuts all ready to go. We have got them individually as well, which we will go through. But I just thought, you know, a lot of people love all of these colours and find them very useful. So we've done a little bit of a discount as well. If you do get the whole bundle, it takes it down to about £3.35 a half metre, which is still great, isn't it? Little discount. If you do use all of these sort of colours, absolutely grab that as you're making a bit of a saving as well. £23.49. Now buy the half metre, let's go for it. So I've got black to start with. Remember, these are on the website, always there. Well, I say always there. If they're not there, they will be coming back in. They're always on reorder. So it's really useful to have, isn't it? So if you are thinking, right, I want to do a really gorgeous, dramatic background with a rainbow of colour over the top, it's going to look awesome. £3.49 a half metre. What about for linings or cushioned backs or bindings? Talking a lot about doing black backgrounds and navy backgrounds, and I think a lot of people forget sometimes that we've got these on the website all the time. So if you're thinking, I've bought Jane Greenoff's kits today, why not just add half a metre or a metre of black as I've already paid your postage and packaging. Now is a really good time to just stock up. It's gorgeous quality, it's Rose and Hubble quilting weight cotton, and it's just £3.49. Dark grey next. Dark grey is this one, which is almost like that sort of, I think like I would call it school grey. I know that I think we do have a school grey, which is a bit confusing, but it is, do you know what I mean? Like that lovely grey pinafore skirt. It's great for workwear. You can absolutely still do dressmaking with it. Just be aware that it's your quilting weight cotton, so it's slightly more structured. It is 100% cotton, machine washable. Going to be absolutely lovely for any of your quilting projects, any of your bag making projects, soft furnishings. We know how popular greys are. And I know that we aren't the only company to be really struggling getting hold of greys at the moment. I think it's just a really in-demand colour, isn't it? It's going to be perfect for lots of different projects. Just £3.49. Imagine again using some really lovely bright colour threads, doing some applique stitches or free motion on top of it. It's going to look amazing. So that's dark grey. I think it's elephant, if I'm not mistaken. It's the next one down. The next one down. We've got light grey. Let me have a look. This one, yeah, is your light grey, which has got a slightly, well, I think it's because I see it next to the other greys, but it's got a slight blue to it. Do you know what I mean? Like more of a bluey grey. Lovely for toy making. What about doing a nice elephant? Or bunny rabbit with his ears, or I mean, there's loads that you can do with our quilting weight fabrics, and they're so affordable, £3.49. This is your chance. Unlike where I was saying with the bundle, this is now if you did like one of those colours and you're thinking of larger projects or more projects that you can buy by the half metre. So this is going to be cut off the bolt, especially for you to whatever size you want. If you want 3 metres, 5 metres, 10 metres, as much as you want, this is the time to order it, and it will be cut to your size. £3.49. I've then got, do you want to do the other grey, which is called silver? All of these have been really, really difficult to get hold of. This is like more of a purpley grey. Oh, Christmas! In fact, I would put this with your night sky bundle. We'll show you that in a bit. This is absolutely lovely. This is your silver, 100% cotton. Half metre is £3.49. Christmas stockings. Absolutely. Even if you're using it for the linings, your quality is beautiful. And a lovely neutral colour. That is so pretty with metallic silver threads. It's not like the in-your-face Christmassy reds and greens, but I still think that would be beautiful for lots of Christmas presents. £3.49, half metre. We've got your beige. I don't really generally use the word beige. I don't like it. I think it's quite a plain word, isn't it, if you're beige. Oh, you like to say the word beige, but I generally don't like it. I think it looks a bit boring, doesn't it? Whereas actually, describing something as beige, I think doesn't sound very interesting. Whereas this is a really lovely, warm tan almost. It's so nice. Again, for toy making, this is going to be ideal. For bag making, to let your designer fabric sing, it's going to go with your William Morris. It's going to go really nicely with your Tildas. It's going to go great with any of your panels that you've had from us. £3.49 half metre, and it does go a long, long way. Bearing in mind, quilting weight cottons, this quality, you'd probably be looking at a designer print that's going to be more like £8, or leading up towards the £8 mark, a half metre. So it's a great time to stock up your stash. It will make all of your designer fabric go further, but equally, it's going to look beautiful as your main fabric. It's such a great neutral colour. Neutral colour, £3.49. I've got cream and ivory. Cream is, I'll show you them both next to each other on and you'll probably just be able to see your cream and ivory, the difference. So ivory looks very white actually against the ivory, but if you were to put then a stark white next to it, then this would look a bit softer. The cream is lovely, like a nice clotted cream and scone. Oh, do you know what it's time for nearly? Mince pie time. Do you know, years ago, I used to do sort of like advertise different companies, and my mince pie sort of promotional job, I was also promoting the Bailey's cream that goes with it, the buttery cream. Oh my gosh, it was delicious, but I was all Bailey's out that year. That yeah, I'd had so much of this. I was basically drunk every day off butter. It was brilliant. Yeah, not much has changed since then, actually. But no, when Kat brought in the mince pies today, I thought, oh, I know it's early for mince pies, but it's definitely too early to put the brandy butter or the Bailey's butter on it. Love it. £3.49 a half metre, that's for your cream. Oh, it's definitely a Christmassy thing, isn't it? I never have Bailey's any other time of year. There are other Irish cream drinks, and please drink responsibly. But I never crack open a bottle of Bailey's any other time of the year. But Kat says it's acceptable over Christmas every night to have a hot chocolate with Bailey's in, isn't it? Oh, no. In fact, it wasn't even Christmas when October time, winter, it's nice and warming, isn't it? We've also got your ivory. Ivory's lovely, and it's just slightly softer. It's going to look very white on your screen, but it is softer than white. $3.49. I didn't realise actually when I got married last year and was looking at dresses, and they say majority of dresses now, you just call them a white, but they're not, they're ivory, because it's slightly softer on the eye. It's going to go with more. It looks absolutely beautiful. Just $3.49. It's going to complement every fabric you've got. So they're all of our sort of neutral colours, and we don't always get a chance to show you them on air, but they are always some of our most popular that we stock. So just wanted to remind you of those. If you do want the bundle of neutrals, if you want all of these, then you can absolutely make the most of them, and it is going to be with a slight saving. About 70p? I mean, it's not much, but every little helps, doesn't it? There you go, $23.49, 3.5 meters of your neutral fabric for just $23.49. I've mentioned the winter nights to go with. You didn't do a hand movement with winter nights, actually, did you? Winter nights. But this is one of Kat's favourite. You didn't do the hand movement with it. It speaks for itself. She said it speaks for itself. Oh, this is so lovely. Now, we've done lots of Christmassy bundles recently, but what I love about this is it isn't in-your-face Christmas. It's one actually that you could have all throughout the winter. You could do a beautiful cushion, or this would make a really, really lovely little baby quilt colours. These are so pretty. For $9.99, you're getting your little Ditzy Star, which is a cotton poplin with a midnight blue background. You're also then getting this one, which I love. I don't know whether you can see on screen, but can you see that silver dot? It's actually slightly sparkly. Not full metallic, but it is just slightly glistening. Glistening, is that a word? Glimmery? Glimmer? 1/2 metre of this, which I love. And then you also have 1/2 metre of one of the greys that we love. I think it's the silver one. I think it's silver. But they look gorgeous together, don't they? They look absolutely beautiful. Good choice, Kat. Look at the price. It's $9.99. That is such a great price, isn't it? 3.5 meters of fabric. Remember, you're thinking for a nice tree skirt, Christmas tree skirt. Let me open these out so you can just see how much on the, this is Rose and Hubble cotton. It's absolutely beautiful quality cotton poplin weight. This one, I'm just going to lay them out on the table because I think sometimes it's hard to see when they're all folded up, isn't it? Just how far this goes. They're both they're all 1/2 metre pre-cuts, which remember is equivalent to 2 fat quarters, which is an awful lot of fabric. It's going to go a long, long way. If you're thinking of doing a bag, I mean, you've got 3 contrasting fabrics here of whether it be your main fabric, your pockets and your straps, or your lining. I mean, whichever way you want to change it up, you've got lots of beautiful fabric to play around with there for just £9.99, and they are so, so beautifully soft. But look at how far that will go. The Ditzy Star is so pretty. Just £9.99 a 1/2 metre. What was it, sorry? Ditzy Star. Oh yeah, Ditzy Star looks amazing on that midnight blue, which is absolutely gorgeous as well. 1.5 meters. Oh, I can't hold it any stiller than this. Hang on. It's really hard to hold things really still. There we go. Whew. I know, it's strange, isn't it? Like, I like to think that I could hold things quite still, but that was a challenge. That looks lovely, that deep midnight blue with that Ditzy Star, 1/2 metre silver and 1/2 metre metallic spot. That's a lovely bundle, Kat. Let's stay with some spots. So this one is with your metallic, beautiful silver. Now these aren't metallic. These are going to be great for all year round, not just Christmas, but your blues and your greens. Do you know why we put this one together? To go with yesterday's very, very popular early bird special. If you manage to get the early bird of the greens and the blues, absolutely grab this one. This is lovely. You've got 1/2 metre of well, 2.5 meters of blue and 2.5 meters of green. Copen blue spot is this one, your deeper blue. We've also got a pale blue poplin weight spot. This is called pistachio. And then emerald, 0.5 meter of emerald. I absolutely love that bundle. This is another one of Kat's. She says, I'm not just tooting my own horn, but whoever put that bundle together is just an artistic genius. They are really creative. This is what she's saying. It's beautiful. That's a really lovely bundle. What would you use them for? I always like when you've got that spot, even if you're patching them together for little girls' dresses or little bags, I remember they'll come as 0.5 meter pre-cuts, but they'll still go a really, really long way. £14.49. That is 2 meters of your green to blue. That's like a lovely apple green, isn't it? That lovely green. Pistachio as well. That is gorgeous, like a mint. Pistachio. I was thinking, what was I thinking about pistachio yesterday? But it wasn't. I was watching the Great British Bake Off. I caught up on it, and they did pistachio marzipan around Battenberg. And I thought, oh, I fancy that. Fancy that. I did enjoy Bake Off, by the way. Oh, I haven't told you. We're going to be doing, you heard it here first with Paul and I, we're going to be doing a competition. Now, we wanted to do like the sew-off here on the air with our guest designers. We wanted to do a sew-off, but we're now saying, do you know what? Let's open it up to everybody. So we're going to do the Great British Sew-Off, which is very exciting. So if you want to take part, basically, you send in your makes, you send in a video of you doing your makes, and then you get a chance to be on air. Come in, we'll sort the kit with the kit team, and we'll be able to get you on air. So if you want to do it, all of the, I don't know whether that's all been revealed properly yet, but there was a bit of a sneak peek on social media I noticed last night. And if you go onto our website and sign up to our newsletter, which I know so many of you already have done, but if you haven't, if you do it before, is it Thursday today? Before this evening, Hayley, who's our marketing manager, she's going to be sending out all of the information about it tonight and how you can enter. So that's exciting, isn't it? I love it when we get our viewers in. It's so lovely to have your input. When I see all of your amazing makes on the fan page, I'm like, every single person should be a guest designer on here. Your makes are amazing. So it's brilliant to be able to say, come on in. It's a competition to come on in. Obviously, we wish we could have everybody in. But I love that, you know, you can just see 4.5 meters of fabric like this, and instantly you're designing in your head of what you're going to make with it, and you turn it into something really exciting and special. We love seeing what you make. We love it. That's why we're here. I must say, it's just the most amazing community here. And yeah, I really hope that if you're thinking, oh no, I don't want to, I can't do it. I was watching Bake Off last night, and the amount of them that said, oh, I'll never get on, I'll never be able to do that. And they're all there on there. So if you love the show, and if you watch all the time, and if you love sewing, please enter. Please, please enter. Okay, so can we do your ones? Are we ready for the evening sky? Evening sky. Oh, sorry. I should have known that that's obviously a bursting sunset, and this is an evening sky. Oh, is this red sky at night, shepherd's delight, red sky in the morning, shepherd's pie? Almost. That's Paul saying. I've used that so many times, by the way, and I get such hilarious looks like, and I say, oh, I thought that's the saying. And yeah, I always claim it as my own. Sorry, Paul. You can claim it at home, don't worry, he's saying. Right. This is Evening Sky. We bought these by the 0.5 meter yesterday, and they were really, really popular. These beautiful purples and those lovely, lovely blues. So we're starting off with that beautiful sky blue at the top. Then we go to denim blue. Then peacock, 0.5 meter of peacock. 0.5 meter of purple. And 0.5 meter of blackberry. And can I show you? That looks almost like crushed velvet. Let me show you. If I open this out, you will see a little bit clearer how this is like, it looks like velvet, doesn't it? But it's a mottled effect. It's so beautiful. £19.49. That colour is absolutely stunning. It's like that chocolate box purple that we, again, I'm saying it again, Christmas. I don't find it acceptable to have that big purple box, you know, out all year round. But at Christmas, I will leave it at the side and I will have it every day. Oh, with a silver metallic thread, this would look beautiful. In fact, I would team this with the winter sky. With the midnight, the winter sky, that would look beautiful. Half a metre, sorry Kat, half a metre of your purple. She's like correcting me. It's actually winter sky. It's winter sky, please. We get it right. Winter night sky, Kat. This lovely subtle colour difference. Look at that. Oh, this looks amazing. You've got so much fabric here. All half metre pre-cuts. Oh, look at that. That is a perfect. Now we're calling it mixers. We're calling it mixers, or we're calling it blenders, because actually it will mean your project will have lovely texture to it. I do find that it just gives really lovely texture, and not to touch, but to the eye. It's 100% cotton. It's absolutely beautiful. This is our last one as well. You won't need to use them all in one go. You could use them, just mix them all in with your solids as well. And instantly, let me just take a purple and mix that in between. If I put a purple in there, it instantly changes the look completely without having a full pattern. Can you see why Kat called it Evening Sky, everyone? Can you? Can you see? Because I can't see. No, I can see. I'd mix this in with it as Evening Sky. Do you know when you get like the reds and the pinks as well? That lovely deep blue. This is the Evening Clear Sky that Kat has over Curdworth. £19.49. Outside, I was just about to give out her full address then. Oh, I love them. They're beautiful. If you see anybody looking up at the night sky in that little town. It's a village, actually, is it? It's a village. Sorry. So let's do Bursting Sunsets next, which is one of Kat's favourite brand new bundles. Oh, hang on. I need to do the arm movement, Kat's saying. We should have done Evening Sky and then Bursting Sunsets. Bursting Sunsets, Evening Sky. Sorry. Here's our Bursting Sunsets. Oh, this I think is my favourite one that you've done, Kat. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? Do you know what it also reminds me of? Rhubarbs and custards. No, not fruit pastels, fruit salads. Fruit salad or rhubarb and custard. Yesterday, one of the girls on, I keep talking about Bake Off, and I was really annoyed yesterday when people kept telling me spoiler alert. And now, I'm sorry if anybody hasn't watched it, I'm that person that's doing all these spoilers. But she did the Battenberg red, pink and yellow cake, and it was absolutely beautiful. It's like Battenberg colours, isn't it? £20.49. But do you know what it's most like? A bursting sunset. These aren't colours that are particularly seasonal either. This isn't one I think that's going to just be for your spring times, even though you've got these lovely, lovely yellows. This sunset shade, I love that colour. What's this one? Is that rose? The only way of getting roses in this bundle, and it's absolutely beautiful. The three pinks that you're getting are rose, half a metre. You're also getting half a metre of your coral pink, which is that one. And then you also get half a metre of peach. Half a metre of peach as well. That's lovely. Then in here you're also getting half a metre of your lemon. Half a metre of sunshine. We have to have sunshine in there. And then 1/2 metre of gold. They absolutely seamlessly blend. They're absolutely beautiful. £20.49. That's 3 metres. Beautiful bursting colours. £20.49. Remember, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 metres. It's a lot, isn't it? They're already pre-cut. We're very, very limited on this bundle. We put together as many as we could. As I said, that's the only way of getting rose, which is one of the most popular solids that we have. All really popular colours. Love that. Thank you, Kat. We've got together a brand new green bundle. All of the greens that are available in stock at the moment are here in this bundle, because I know lots of you are wanting greens for Christmas projects. Lots of you love, oh, in fact, this green and the teal look beautiful together. Are these two different greens? They are. They are just slightly different. Come on. Please will you send Kat some lovely messages, because she says she wants some nice messages complimenting her bundles, because they took her hours. Quite often, if you've done it at home as well, if you're putting together your own bundle, we're doing these build bundle shows, and it was brilliant. The pick and mix show was great. It was really popular, and we are working on different ways that we can do it more efficiently next time, so we will definitely do it again. But what I was going to say is, if you've spent hours like Kat is having to now on the web, searching through and picking out colours, it's really difficult to do, to see small pictures and see what are going to work together. Wow, I love that jade colour. The colours are gorgeous here. You're getting 1/2 metre of each of these lovely shades, which you're getting 1/2 metre of fur, F-U-R. Fur is in fur, not as in fur. F-I-R, not F-U-R. Then you're getting 1/2 metre of emerald. 1/2 metre of my favourite colour in stock, jade. Lime green, 1/2 metre. And 1/2 metre of mint. Oh, that is so beautiful, isn't it? That lovely mint green for just £17.49. 2.5 metres of all of the greens that we've got in stock at the moment. That jade is gorgeous. And in fact, jade and lime with grey works really, really well. We saw it in the kit yesterday and it flew out with Delphine. The quilt bundle that we had was lovely. These are great Christmassy greens as well, aren't they? Fur and emerald. They're going to be really, really nice. A green to suit every fabric that you've got, any occasion. I love it. That's quite a springy green. You've got your lovely lime green and jade. I just love that. Just £17.49. Can I remind everybody, by the way, we've got Jane coming back at 11 o'clock and we've got so much to get through. The cushion that's above me here, there you go, already very, very popular indeed. It's stunning. The kit is gorgeous. And the Watbows that we were talking about earlier on, there they are. They're beautiful, almost like little scissor keepers. Thank you, Wendy, for your lovely message. She says, Kat, your bundles are amazing, just like you and everyone else at Sewing Street. Thank you, Wendy. No, Wendy, you're amazing. Thank you for watching. That's what Kat said. Which Wendy's this? Wendy I know where Wendy. Wendy D, thank you. Let's do the bright yellows. We were talking about sunshine colour. This is very, very limited. I'm so pleased you love all of our bundles. Oh, yellow, Paul's saying. Paul, tell us about your date then. Paul's off on a date, everybody, on Friday. Well, he thought he was, but he started to tell everybody yesterday, and now the universe is against him, and the lady's now cancelling. Don't worry, you can rearrange. You can rearrange. 12.99 metre. He's still single, by the way, ladies. If we want to fix him up. We're ready to set him up, everyone. If anybody knows of any lovely, lovely ladies for our lovely Paul, he is ready to mingle. After 9 months, I was pausing because I was thinking, right, what does he need? And then I just thought, no, actually, do you know what? He's just ready to mingle. What's your dream date, Paul? Event? What would you do? Where would you take somebody? I think it'd be really, really nice to do like a nice walk, because you love your walking, don't you? You know, lots of lovely walks now. A picnic at the end. Oh, lovely, with a glass of wine. That's the second or third date. Half a metre of lemon. Half a metre of sunshine. Half a metre of corn yellow. Half a metre of gold. Half a metre of gold, £12.99. Wine tasting is where he'll take you, everybody. If anyone wants the date with Paul, he says he'll take you wine tasting. Sounds great. Like in a vineyard, nice. £12.99 a half a metre. Or an escape room. Oh, I do like escape rooms. They're good fun, aren't they? Oh, you prefer to like just go to a bar or restaurant or something like that? And I know it's good, isn't it? Because then you know you're going to be home by 10 o'clock. Yeah, maybe do that. Nice chat. £12.99, half a metre of each. They look gorgeous together. They really, really do. But equally, they're going to be lovely to go with. I'm thinking we had some beautiful bee fabric not so long ago, which I know I've started seeing quite a bit on the fan page actually, and this would look really, really nice with those bees. Just £12.99. We are well into autumn now, aren't we? 2 days of rain and miserable weather here in the Midlands. Therefore, we're officially in autumn. We put together a great autumn bundle. I can't claim it as I did. This is the first bundle that Kat put together, and it is really lovely. Once again, you're getting half a metre of each of these. This one should have been called Awesome Autumn. We love the spots. I do think, you know, to mix it in fact, what I'm going to do is I am going to physically mix it in with these. No, because I like how they sort of mix in together, do you know what I mean? It just adds, again, a bit of texture, like with the mottle effect mixers that we have, the blenders that we have. So, you're getting half a metre of brunette, half a metre of your yellow spot, hot, hot, hot tomato. That is lovely. Half a metre of your tan spot. And half a metre of crimson. 2.5 metres in total, that's 5 half metres. Lovely autumnal colours. I must say, I do absolutely love that hot tomato. That's so nice. £17.99. That is one of the most popular autumn bundles. Well, I say one of the most popular. That is one of the only autumn bundles that we have. And it is quite difficult, actually, going on the website, trying to put together the colours that go. So do take Kat's advice. If you are thinking of doing an autumnal bundle or an autumnal project, this would be a beautiful, beautiful one. £17.99. Is this one about to sell out, did you say? Oh, okay, let's show it. Neutrals are about to sell out. Lots of our bundles, in fact, are going to sell out. If you've got it in your basket, now is the time to check out all of these. Buy the half metre. There you go. Ivory, cream, nude, silver, grey, dark grey and black. £23.49.5 metre. Always going to be useful for your stash, of course, and you are making a slight saving. We're about £3.35 a half metre, which is great, isn't it? I mean, at £3.50 a half metre, which we normally are, is great value. Bursting Sunset also about to sell out. Bursting Sunset is this one with your yellows and your pinks. You've got 1/2 metre of gold, 1/2 metre of sunshine, 1/2 metre of lemon, 1/2 metre of blush, 1/2 metre of your pink, and 1/2 metre of rose. The only way of getting rose now is in this bundle, and it will sell out. I do love these big bundles of fabric because it does just cut out that hard work for you. And whether they are stash builders or whether you want to do some big modern contemporary quilts, just cutting out some big squares, rectangles and putting them together in different formations, like, let me show you. I know that we probably haven't got enough time, but these are going to sell out, aren't they? If you put together like a bit of a design, unbelievable, Paul's saying. I'm going to go for a square. And imagine this is a quilt design. And then I'm going to fill it in with a sunshine. And you were to do some lovely quilting on this. They look great, don't they? And let's put gold mixed in. What do you think? Needs a bit of work, but... Do you know what I mean? If you type in big block colours, quilt designs, big block, I think under just like contemporary quilts on Instagram or on Pinterest online, you'll find lots that are all different shapes and sizes. I mean, this is going to go such a long way. I've obviously folded these all up. There's lots that you can do. Or for backing quilts even. For backing, these are a really affordable way of doing it. And there's not too much piecing if you are just putting really nice big blocks together. If you do just want the pinks, if you love these pinks together, we've got berries next. 4 of your 1/2 metre pre-cuts in all of your lovely berry colours. So you've got 1/2 metre of purple, which is a lovely purple, isn't it? It's quite a soft purple. I always think lavender colours like this are very, very calming and beautiful. That's quite, I want to say like a bluey purple as well. It's got a slight, like Parma violet shade. 12, was it £12.99? Yeah, there you go, £12.99. 2 metres and you get 1/2 metre of amethyst. You have 1/2 metre of your hot, hot, hot pink. That's called pomegranate. 1/2 metre of raspberry and 1/2 metre of fuchsia. See, when you go to lots of fabric stores, I find, and it's through no fault of their own, it's just simply their stock. They don't have the big warehouse facilities that we've got next door to be able to stock all of the different colours. So if you need a pink, you might be able to find a light pink and a darker pink, but trying to find the right colour to match in with your project or to match in with your fabric can sometimes be a challenge. This will go beautifully with any of the Tula Pink design rolls and charm packs that we've had over the last couple of days. I'm literally just looking down at the Highland Cow cushion to the left of me, and this will go so well with the colours that we had in the True Colours range. They'd look amazing. Well done if you got that yesterday, because I had a lot of messages and calls after the show of people who I did warn them, my friends and my family who have all wanted those cushions and panels, and no, they missed out completely. I think all the kits sold out before we went live at 8 o'clock, and it wasn't on till 11, so well done if you did manage to get it. I'm excited to see all of them. After the show, it does get addictive. After the show, I said, right, can I make one? Because there was the few bits that Delphine had. So I was doing practicing my free motion, and it's so much fun, really fun. Oh gosh, did Hayley put it on Instagram? So you've got all of your beautiful pinks, 4 1/2 metres for £12.99. That's 2 whole metres of fabric. 8 fat quarters of fabric for £12.99. In fact, let's work that out, Kat. What is my price per fat quarter? I know that we haven't had the exhibition shows and everything to go at the moment, but if ever you have been to any of the big craft exhibitions or craft fairs, if you ever see a stall that's got fat quarters for less than £2, it's a free-for-all. You fight to get them. It's always those really crowded stalls. Go in with your high-vis jacket on, and it's the price per fat quarter on here. Is £1.62. How good is that? And these are lovely quality Rose and Hubble quilting weight fabrics, just £12.99. Right, we've got time to squeeze in literally a couple more before we get Jane back on. We've got grey hearts. This is just a 1 metre bundle. I mean, not everybody wants to have masses and masses of colours. If you just want a lovely designer fabric and a complementing colour to go with, this one is for you. So you get 1/2 metre of this one, which is Lewis and Irene. It actually reminds me so much of a Liberty print. It's so beautiful. You've got these lovely hearts, and in fact, it just reminded me of the silver metallic that we saw in the, what was it called? Winter Night Sky bundle. This has got just a very, very slight silver spot metallic, and there's such pretty hearts. I love how detailed that is. It is one that's a more of a neutral colour actually. So whether you're choosing this to be your main fabric or your lining fabric, I think this would be so beautiful for bag making, for soft furnishing, cushions, Christmas prezi bags. Been talking a lot recently about sustainability and reusing and upcycling, and I think these would be beautiful to make some lovely gift bags. And there you go, you've got your lining as well with that lovely silver 1/2 metre as well. Just £8.99. That's your Grey Hearts bundle. Incredibly limited. I sound like I broke a record this hour, don't I? Everything is selling very, very quickly. If you have got anything in your basket, check out as many times as you want and you'll still only pay 1p&p. I've got the purples as well to show you, and the Winter Nights, which similarly to this one has got that lovely metallic silver spot, which is just so pretty for Christmas. But it's not screaming in your face, it's Christmas, like is that noddy holder that screams it's Christmas. It's just a subtle metallic dot, which I think would look beautiful for lots of winter makes, not necessarily just for Christmas. So you've got your Midnight Ditzy Star, which looks like a spot from here, but actually, come on in, Paul, don't be shy. You've got a really, really beautiful little Ditzy Star, and it is a poplin weight cotton, so just that you're aware, I shouldn't really feel a difference when you're working with it. But I did speak to Sally Ann Harrison actually, just to make you aware of it. If you're quilting with it, it might feel slightly different, but it's a lighter weight cotton. That's your poplin in that beautiful midnight sky. We've also got the metallic spot, which is like a lovely cream background with then this metallic silver. It's not a stark white background, it's a lovely soft colour. And then we've also again trimmed it with silver, which is perfect complement. All three of them, brand new bundle today, already extremely, extremely limited. The purples, your lilacs to purples. This is what's great, isn't it? Just to be able to see the variety of purples that we stock. And these are ones, just to remind you, that are always on the website by the 1/2 metre. You can purchase them at any point. 1/2 metre of your lilac, which is beautiful. 1/2 metre of your amethyst, which is this one. Sorry, this one's amethyst, is it? This one's amethyst and this one's lavender, so that's a slightly darker. I love that lavender, that's beautiful. 1/2 metre of magenta, which is a beautiful, vibrant berry tone, and 1/2 metre of purple. Purple. That's quite a bluey purple, like a royal, almost rich velvety colour, isn't it again? In fact, this would look really, really nice with your night sky bundle. £13.49. I would absolutely team this with, if you want to give it a mix of fabric in there as well to add a bit more texture. Let me show you them both. What do you think? That's your evening sky bundle. Evening sky, and with the purples, that would look really, really nice. Especially mixing them in together, they'd look lovely. This is evening sky. Cat's brand new bundle. 1/2 metre, just to remind you, let me open this out and show you. 1/2 metre is 112 wide, so you get a lot of fabric there for 1/2 metre, don't you? 1/2 metre looks like that, just £19.49, and you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/2 metre pre-cuts, all ready to go. They have already been cut by our warehouse team, so don't worry, if you are multi-buying on this, they will already come, they come pre-cut into 1/2 metres. If you do want them by the 1/2 metre, have a look on the website and see what colours are available. We've put together as many bundles as we possibly can, but they are selling out rapidly. It's a busy, busy, busy day today. I know it's a very special day say, when we have Jane Greenoff in the building, we know it's going to be a busy day. Coming up at 11 o'clock, literally a few minutes, we're going to get her on air so that we get a full hour with her. The cushion that's behind me is already selling like hotcakes. It's so busy. I'm not surprised though. The Dutch sampler, which is exclusive to us, the one that's next to me here, this is available still at the moment. The Tokens of Love is completely sold out. This is available both on Ada and on linen. And then we've also got the greenhouse, which at the moment we have got less than 5 remaining. If you do want that greenhouse kit, it's absolutely beautiful. I know that we've got lots of other projects and other things to show you in the next hour with Jane, so we won't be able to necessarily recap things. So if there is something that you would like, have a look back on the website over the next couple of minutes and see what's available. That's £60, and I must say it comes with everything that you need. It isn't just the greenhouse. You also get to make all of those little elements that come with it, like your retractable tape measure, your little scissor keeper, your watt bow and all sorts. Coming up though in the next hour, lots of people have spotted them on the website already. The amount of times that we have had people asking when, oh, wow, where did I go? That was strange, wasn't it? Oh, look, we've got the owl, and that's to scale. That is to scale, the same size as me. And the hippo, which are lovely little magnetic needle holders. How adorable are these? Coming up in the next hour. Is there anything else that you want me to mention? No, let's get her on, let's get her on. Do speak to the customer service team, get ready, have us on your laptop or on the phone, get ready to purchase all of the beautiful kits that are coming your way. Don't get anywhere, we're back with Jane Greenoff right after this.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay 1 lot of postage all day? That's 1 payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Hello everyone, my name's Cara Ackerman and I'm absolutely delighted to be here at Sewing Street. I actually originated from Hertfordshire, then went down to Hampshire and then it ended up in the East Midlands. I've been in the East Midlands for about 40 years now, which seems crazy, but 36 of those I actually worked with DMC Creative World, which was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that. And then I decided to go freelance and that's how I got introduced to Sewing Street. I love doing anything to do with textiles, so embroidery, cross stitch, patchwork, done a bit of quilting, bag making, toy making, oh goodness, there's loads and loads of things. What I love doing is just trying something new, and I think one of the tips is don't be frightened of trying something new. You always learn from it, and you know, don't be scared of making mistakes either. We all learn from the mistakes that we make. Little bit about me that you might not know, and that's a bit of a surprise. I once went to the garden party down at Buckingham Palace, the Queen's garden party, for some work that I did with Marie Curie. I was so lucky to go there, and just a wonderful time. So I hope to see more of you on Sewing Street, and I hope to try lots of new crafts with you. So see you again soon. Bye bye.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hello, welcome back. Hope you're having a lovely morning so far. Thanks all so much for your company. We've had lots of lovely messages come in, especially for our gorgeous Jane Greenoff. It's always a pleasure to have you with us, Jane. It really, really is. We need to do days. Cross stitch, yeah, a whole day, a whole show, 2 hours.
Actually, I could talk all day about
you
cross
could.
stitch.
You
it's
absolutely
worrying,
could.
isn't it?
So let's just go back to the beginning. We started at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, sorry, and we had a full hour, gorgeous different products. The kit with the greenhouse, just so you're aware, we are literally down to the last handful. I know this is one that Jane is particularly passionate about, and it's sold out in the first showing. So we've managed to get some more in. There are a handful of those left, Jane. It's so beautiful. Do make the most of that. Yes, absolutely. Check out on that one as soon as you can. We had a question come in for you. We've had lots of lovely messages. Paul has asked about do you condition your thread before you start hand sewing?
I genuinely don't.
Okay.
There is something called Thread Heaven. There are others out there, I think. And I'm told that they're very useful for if you're using metallic threads.
Okay.
And certainly if you're using blending filament. And that's where you add a fine filament to your stranded cotton or floss. For instance, if you're working with white and you'd add a pearlescent one to make the snow glisten, then I'm told that fabric conditioner, thread conditioner, actually does stop it pinging quite the way it does.
Okay.
I don't use it myself.
Right, okay, that's good to know.
I haven't found the use. Yes, haven't
it's
found a
personal
need.
Preference, but you don't necessarily need to invest in it.
But I know that when I investigated stitching with metallic threads, people like Krynick and other companies that make it suggest it's useful.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's the best I can do on that one, sorry.
No, thank you. Thank you for your messages. If you've got any more questions for Jane, get them in.
Any more pictures?
Absolutely, we love seeing all your makes. So what is it that you want to talk to us about first? We've got loads of goodies this
Well,
hour.
I think, let's have a go at talking about the needles again.
That's where we sort of left off on
yes.
the last
So this is what we call the Plu Perfect collection. And this was really, it's been our sort of standard. We've slightly altered it in the last 3 years. It used to be the Perfect collection, so it's now the Plu Perfect collection. And that was because we added the curly needle.
So do you generally use all of these different needles?
Yes.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Yes, and if you look at now the curved one That's particularly useful when making boxes.
Okay, so more for the construction.
Because if you're trying to get in amongst it here, you can imagine having the curve. I have this real urge to have artery forceps from my theatre days as a nurse, so I can really get going. But I haven't got any, so yes. So that's they're actually, believe it or not, they're mattress needles. They're the finest mattress needles we could get that were curved and the thing to remember about needles and cross stitch is that we use a blunt needle.
Okay.
Because we are parting the fabric, not piercing it.
Right.
So if you think of a fine linen handkerchief, or I've got a collection of wonderful all embroidered tablecloths, the sort of lazy daisy jobs, and the fine fabric you'd use a sharp needle. We use a blunt one because we don't want to split the threads, we want to part them.
Right, that makes sense.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what size needle you would use,
is it personal preference, or do you use different sizes?
There are
for
different
projects?
sizes for different things, actually.
Okay.
For instance, if I go into this is going to confuse everybody now. I'm just going to snaffle this fabric for a minute, and then this has actually got some gold needles in it. So if you wanted to know if your needle was the right size, whoops, let me pick that one up. You want it to pass through the fabric without falling, but not to make a hole.
Oh, and that's how to
And that's
test
the right
whether
size.
it's the right size.
Now, the reason this one has got a bigger needle in it, we'll come to in a second, but it's to do with the technique we're going to use.
Okay.
Okay, so the needles in the boxes then, you've got right at the front there, that's what I mentioned before when we talked about working with the size 28. Now I use these for doing the back stitch, which I add after my cross stitch as a general rule. So if I'm doing an area cross stitch, then I add the back stitch detail afterwards, working over 2 fabric threads or 1 box of Ada each time. And that's an ideal one for 1 strand. Then we've got 26s, 24s and 22s. The 22 is this needle that I'm going to talk about here, that we use for hardanger.
Okay.
There is 1 sharp in here, right, this one here.
What would you use your sharp for?
And that's when you're, for instance, adding the felt. If you're joining this together, you would need a sharp needle to get through, whereas a blunt needle, you'd be forcing all the time, so that's why, or maybe the felt on this box, when I was slipping this inside. And adding the silk lining again, and putting the felt on the base, putting the felt on here, I would use a sharp.
Okay, so they're all included, and actually what I love about it is that they're all in order on the label with a list of everything. So pop them back in that same order and you
know where you are.
Stuck.
Now interestingly, we mentioned the stitch book in the morning earlier programme. Now in the back of the stitch book there is actually a life-size, it's almost like a ready reckoner. And if you lay your needles on top, you can tell the sizes.
Oh, gosh, that's good. I wonder how
Which
to
is,
do that.
it's really,
I'm so bad at enlarging things and things like that on the
I
computer
know,
to
and
be
actually,
able to do it to life size.
Do you know, we did years ago, we did that very thing on a little piece of see-through plastic, and when it was manufactured, the manufacturer reduced it.
Oh.
Not thinking that it needed to be exactly as it was. So this is our wonderful Ethan again, who I don't know how he does it. I mean, how do you do that? How do you make the needle life size?
Techie whiz.
Yeah, techie whiz. Anyway, so going back to the needles, you've got a list here of what's in the box. This one at the very end, at the back, is for attaching beads. Now, generally, I'm talking about...
Oh, we had a couple when I was on with you before that had some lovely beads.
The little autumn needle roll that we had looked at earlier, that's got beads in it. They're a size 12 seed bead, and you need that size needle to go through the hole.
And they're all, again, gold-plated.
And they're gold-plated to 2 microns, and as I said, if you can get the gold off, you get another one.
Brilliant.
And why do you bother using one? Well, they say the coefficient of friction is less with gold. which means they slip through the fabric more easily.
Oh yeah, well,
which you can imagine.
For you being such a skeptic at the start, thinking,
well, I thought it was a lot of
bit
rubbish.
of a novelty, whereas
Yes.
actually you're converted and
haven't used anything else since.
So the needles are available. They're always very, very popular. Whenever Jane is here, we always ask her to bring more. You've taken us about the kit of, I believe, the autumn.
Yes, I'm just going to get this one now. Now this is.
It would be good to see this other technique.
Bear with me. Ha.
Thank you.
Here we go. So that's this kit here. So I pop it about there.
This is beautiful.
How's that looking? Whoops, down a bit.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you.
Now, this is not a first project.
Okay.
So I will want you to have worked on linen before and worked from a chart before. And it's made up of a number of different elements. Now, if you look...
Not just cross-stitch.
No, you've got cross-stitch here and here.
Okay.
And in fact, quite a lot of cross-stitch. I would do that if I was working this. I would start this from the middle of the design and the middle of the chart. That's the general rule, I think, when we're doing counted embroidery. If I put this the same way up as the stitching, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So if I was working this, I would start in the middle and I'd work the cross-stitch elements, because that places me exactly where I need to be on the fabric. Then I would tackle this section here. Now this is the hardanger embroidery. Now those of you who've not done it before, it's something that always makes people squeal, because you're going to cut the fabric when you've stitched it.
It sounds pretty scary, doesn't it, when you've done
It
all
does,
that lovely
it does.
stitching?
I mean, I remember my first attempts with acute embarrassment, because cross-stitchers are naturally mean. They want to save all the little scraps for their Christmas cards and things, you know. And I was not going to use that much thread. You know, la la la. And of course, when I did cut it, it fell apart.
Oh no, we've got a book actually, haven't we?
Yes, this is what I was going to come to actually. So the instructions come in the pack. You know, you don't need the book. It's all included. But this was written as a hand-holding exercise, really. I was lucky enough to sit with one other person and learn hardanger before a shop opened.
Oh wow.
In South Carolina, when Lulu was knee-high to a grasshopper.
Where does hardanger originate?
It comes from the area of Norway called Hardanger.
Oh, there is an
It's
area.
a very large area with an enormous fjord. I always want to smile when you say the word fjord. You think of Monty Python, don't you? But they've put a bridge in the fjord now, and it's the deepest thing they've ever had to put a spike in, if that's not technical engineering language. But if you can imagine they built a suspension bridge going between the mountains either side, the how far down they had to go to put the pylons in, or whatever they call them, stanchions, I don't know. It's the deepest in the world, because these things are fantastic. So this fjord area is where this comes from, and it comes from, if I just find that picture.
Oh, so used a lot in garments.
It's used in costume. Now, when I first came across this, I assumed it was historical, which it is. But what's actually happened is in Norway, people are quite fiercely independent. You know, they are an independent country. They're not owned by Sweden or Russia or China or anyone else. They are independent. And their costume is used now almost more than it used to be.
Oh, so it isn't a period
It isn't a period thing at all. This costume belongs to the 5 generations of the Utne family, who have a hotel in Hardanger, in a place called Utne, where they have a lot of hardanger around the building. And this is the costumes in a glass case as you go in the door. And it would be worn for weddings, family days, national days, confirmations, all those sorts of things would actually encourage, this would come out. Now, the mother or the matriarch of the family has the silverware and the crown.
Yeah.
And then the gentlemen have the stitching on the cuffs of their shirts and on the aprons on the ladies. And it is done still to this day.
Gosh, that would take some time.
It would take some time. Now, sometimes a young woman would start making something for her daughter when you know the daughter's quite small, and they would have a mini costume with embroidery anglais done, just as a pretend, you know, and then they'd probably get this costume when they were confirmed.
Right.
So the panel that runs across the bottom of this diagram here. Now, originally you'd have a piece of fabric as big as the apron, and you work the panel. Now what happens is you can go and actually buy a panel that's been hand stitched in a shop called Husfliden in Bergen. And she had a faulty one when I was there. So she got the panel out, you know, so big, like that. And it had post-it notes on it where there'd been errors that needed repairing. So I said, oh, right. So how much would this be if I decided to buy it and repair it? And she said, £4,000, Mrs. Greenoff. Right, I said. So the costume is, if you buy it, it's very expensive.
Very expensive.
But that's where the technique comes from. The principle is, I'm going to just find it in this little book. This was done for a reason, because I teach hardanger a lot.
And not everybody makes full, you know, period costume and garments, do they? You can incorporate
that's
it into
right.
lots of your stitches.
When I spoke to them in Norway about the costume, they referred to hardanger from hardanger, and they referred to American hardanger. And I said, oh,
is there a difference?
Really? And so the difference is that we use 4 main stitches for our aprons, and people in America have invented 100 more.
Okay.
But actually they wouldn't genuinely be used in a costume. But we did the book in such a way that you make these boxes, so that's an away waist knot, and that's 1 cluster block, and that's what it looks like stitched. And then you change direction to work the next one.
Right.
And that's what it looks like stitched.
Oh, this is ever so clear as well, isn't it? Don't get me wrong, like you say, you get all your instructions in
it's in there.
the kits, but
this was done because people get nervous. I did a CD-ROM book some years ago, and it was called Hardanger for the Horrified. And it's the idea of cutting it and hoping you get it right. But actually, if you follow my instructions in here, you do get it right. And then it shows you how the cutting is done. So reverting back to this project, these are cluster blocks that I've just talked about. They're worked in a hand-dyed thread, which is here. So there's a thick one and a thin one there. That's used for this little section. And then when this is stitched, the edges can be trimmed and the whiskers pulled out.
Oh, beautiful.
So this is a little bit of hardanger to try. This is part of a series of 4 we did seasonal with the different seasons, and some of you I know will have seen them before. And there's a few extra stitches on here, some French knots there. Very sweet. Not a first project.
Have you brought them to us before? Or
Yes.
These are ones that we've seen?
I don't know if you've had autumn.
No, I don't.
But I think we might have had spring.
Yeah. We have got the others that are available, but those autumny colours are beautiful, aren't they? Like
Doesn't
you said,
that
these
work
muted.
well?
Absolutely.
And again, you know, they're pre-sorted for you with the colour numbers, etc.
So that's the autumn. Can we have a look at some of the other seasons then? We'll quickly whiz through those.
Well, yes, this was something that sort of almost grew out of having done that one, really. So these are, now, those of you who watched the morning early programme, Helen had worked us these.
She did it the most beautiful, didn't she?
As a little
wall hanging.
As a wall hanging. So these are 4 seasons, individually sold. Let's just take that winter one as an example, which is this one.
So that looks quite complex. The shape itself, I think.
Well, it's not. It does drive you mad to start with,
Yeah,
I have to tell you. I found this shape when we were travelling in the cross-stitch market in Cambodia, in a Siem Reap.
Oh, wow.
And it was a little woven keyring. And I stood there going, right, how many sides is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I thought,
Still
well, I
can't get my head
need to
around
kind of, yes. So it's a 3-sided piece.
3 sides.
Okay, so it's a three-sided, so these would also make pretty tree decorations.
Oh, they would, absolutely.
Depending on how you join, you know, that one would certainly, wouldn't it? Anyway, so this is the winter one, just to show you. So each one is made up in the same manner.
Oh, you even get the little scissors and everything.
Yes, they're Italian and they're very sharp.
Just bring it all to your right, sorry, please.
Sorry.
No, thank you, just where
I
that
will
block
get used
is,
to it.
Perfect.
There we are. So that's to make the cord.
Yeah.
That's to make the shape. And this is what you're going to stitch, so you can see it's not hard. Look. So it's 3 squares.
Oh, it's squares. That makes sense
3
now. When you see
squares.
it from that angle, you can see it more so, can't you?
Yes. So you're just going to stitch those on your fabric. There's a piece of material.
Do they start out as drawings for you? Do you draw them first?
Yes, yes. I mean, sometimes I will, if I've decided on a size that I like, for instance these, I'll create a box on my computer that is that size, just the box. Then I print that off with a photocopier, you know, thing. And then I would sit and draw shapes in there with pencil. At some point, you know, now that we've moved to the new studio, I'm hoping that we'll have a go with the cross-stitch program at some time.
Absolutely, we can do
But
that.
I'll be able to show you there. I'm not good at drawing unless the squares on the paper. Now, I don't know what that's about. I certainly didn't get anything at O-level in
You see
drawing.
in squares,
I
don't
see
you?
in squares, exactly. So I would have, if I haven't got an idea, for instance, I'll use a seed packet or, you know, gardening books and look at shapes. But this one's, and I decided to make them all the same way up, which of course causes all sorts of interest when you put the thing together.
So is this something that somebody who is more of a beginner could have a go at?
Yes, you could make this 2 evenings work and put your scissors on it and you're done.
That's a lovely first project, isn't it?
Yes, smashing.
You'll be able to use it, keep
yes,
it.
Exactly,
It's really handy.
Exactly. Yes, so very straightforward.
And when I first started stitching, I know when, you know, if you're at home thinking, I've never done this before and I want to do something that's a bit more mindful and slow, so you don't want something that, don't get me wrong, I don't know how to word it, that doesn't look babyish.
No, that's right. I mean, if you want something simple enough to get it finished, there's nothing more disappointing than starting something and hating it.
Yeah, I want to see results quite quick.
Yes, you want to see something. I've never been particularly good at canvas work because it involved all that beige background. Yeah. You know, some people like doing background, I don't. The thing about cross stitch is when you finish the design, you finish the thing. I haven't got to do all the rest of it. And there are some French knots and a few other bits and bobs on this, but none of them are compulsory. You've got the cross-stitch cord instructions, look. And then you've got how to make a twisted cord.
So you would think, actually, is that as simple as twisting, but there's a method to it that it doesn't come untwisted as soon as you want it,
yes. And you've got a thread card there.
And all of the what bows across the board, same skill level,
yes,
or the difference?
Same skill level. And I think they would be, well, it's certainly something I encourage when I'm doing classes, you know, which obviously we're not at the moment. When the cross-stitch guild weekends, etc., there'll almost always be a scissor keeper as one of the projects, because anyone who's less experienced than others in the group can just get on with that.
Absolutely.
And they can make it up, you know, put the twisted cord on, and actually be using it on the Sunday when they're tackling the rest. It's such a satisfying thing.
Fantastic. So that one, just to remind you, was the winter. We've also got spring.
So this is spring.
These colours as well that you chose that are beautiful.
So there's Daffy Dewdrops there, look. Crocuses.
Look at you, Mrs. Greenfingers. You're very good with all of your plants and flowers, aren't you?
Well, I'm learning. I'm learning since the greenhouse, you know.
Yeah.
Little grape hyacinths there.
Oh, what's the stitch you've done on those? Because they look lovely
French
and fluffy
knots.
from here.
Yeah,
They're
just
French
little
knots.
French knots.
A lot of people get scared of French knots, but
I'm
I know
going
that
to
you've
show you in a
said
minute.
a few times, don't be scared.
Don't be scared. I'll show you the absolutely. I was doing something for a book called At Home with Cross Stitch a long time ago, and I was doing a game sampler. So it had a snakes and adders and chess and all the different things. And I was doing a crib board, and it was 2 in the morning. I'd listened to Sailing By on the Beeb, and I was needing to go to bed, and all the French knots were ending up on the back or in the needle or somewhere, and I got so annoyed that I thought, right, I'm going to have to teach myself a way this works.
So this
Shall
is
I
a
do that now?
foolproof way.
I
Absolutely,
shall do
why
it now.
not? I know we get a lot of messages of
Right, I'm going to
how many
borrow some-
times to go round and where to hold your
I know,
tension
I know.
and why it's not working. So
Yeah, so let's use this one because it's a nice
whilst
strong
Joe's just
colour.
choosing, getting the thread sorted, we'll bring the graphics live for each of the, this is the spring. Summer as well we'll launch, so it just depends on which designs and which colours you want. You can see them there, look, there's your summer for £15. And then we also have autumn, which is beautiful as well. They'd be lovely gifts for people, wouldn't they? I always, Jane said earlier on, if you gift something that is stitched, it's so sentimental. Anybody can go out and buy things, but
It's
spending
nothing
that
like
time.
that, yes, absolutely.
You said at the start of the show, time is really, really precious, and I think this is one thing that I've certainly learned over the last 6 to 8 months is that, you know, time is really important and your health really important. So just
Yes,
to sit
we-
and do something quite mindful.
It's very good for you.
It is good for you.
When my son had to have surgery when he was 4, and you know, being an ex-nurse, I'd visualised all the things that were going to go wrong, you know, and I sat with my back to the clock and sat and stitched. I actually stitched the front of the Liberty building in Regent Street, if you remember, because we used to have a sampler. Right, I've got one strand folded in half with the loop. I'm just going to bring my needle up anywhere and just anchor it, because I'm going to put a knot on the top. Gone through the loop on the back, look. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 versions. One is called something else, but if you can't master one, you can master t'other. Right, here we go. So, the trick is not to try and get it off the needle too soon. So I'm putting the eye of the needle under my thumb, wrapping the needle around twice, and I'm going to post the point. Bear with me. And I'm actually giving a tiny bit of a bridge for the stitch to sit on. When you see it in most textbooks, you go down the same hole you came up, which is fine on very fine linen. But if you're doing it on linen with holes in, as we are, they can go through them.
Yeah.
Now I'm keeping my thumb, I've got a finger supporting the stitch, and I'm letting go at the last minute. So let's do one without a tail on it this time.
So how many times did you wind it round? Sorry, I missed that.
So around 1,
Once,
2,
twice.
Post the point next door,
Okay.
and it'll sit there.
You've let go of that completely. I mean, a lot of people get really scared of keeping that
Yes,
tension, but
so
it's all
if
right.
you just pull it nice and snug, that's when you make a neat one.
Okay.
And I keep hold of that. Whoops. Not perfect, Jane. Do it again. 1, 2. Post the point. Make it tidy. And as I'm supporting it, it doesn't fall through to the wrong side. There you are.
And I do think it adds lovely texture, do you?
Oh yes. And sometimes, you know, here you are, look. So I've just outlined those berries, and then I've sat there and mixed them up at random.
Yeah.
To get that nice look. And same with the grape hyacinths there.
So which one's the great hyacinths?
These little blue jobs.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yes, you know, they spread like wildfire if you've got them. But, so I've just done them at random. And one of my things, now I'm trying to think if you've seen it on Sewing Street or not. I did a dandelion on something where you've got the stem, and I outlined the blowing thing.
Yeah.
And then I've half filled it with French knots using silk, perlé and stranded cotton differently to give different size bumps.
Yeah.
I put a few pearls in, and it really was effective.
Do you remember that one, Kat?
I'm trying to think what it was on.
Was it on the Tyranny of Dusting?
Oh, it was probably on the Tyranny of Dusting.
Yeah. There you
Thank
go.
you. Well done, Kat. Now I'll show you another knot that's useful if you find this too tiresome. And this is actually called a colonial knot, but the same thing applies. You bring your thread out, and I'm going to do a figure of 8 on the needle, through there, round there, post it through.
How's that different to a French knot, colonial knot?
Well, it's just a different construction. If you think, with French knots you're wrapping, this one you're going under and over. And then that's where you hold it underneath. And this is when you can make the stitch nice. You know, push it down and make it look nice before you pull through.
Oh, beautiful.
Whoops.
These are just lovely ways of adding a bit of texture, and like you say, quite often optional.
Yes.
But also, I think you'll start to add them into more of your products, make them.
When
your
you've got the
own.
hang of them, it's amazing
Yeah.
how often you use them, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got any other examples. Obviously, there's quite a few on the greenhouse flowers.
Absolutely, they look beautiful.
I'll just do that colonial one again. So, under, over, through. Now, as I mentioned, all the kits have got the instructions in, as I've shown you. Whoops. And again, you see, there's an example. I'm using a gold needle. Now, at the shows, at Knitting and Stitching Show, certainly on one year, I had counted that I'd taught 178 French knots in 4 days. That was only when I started counting. And I used a gold needle because they slip off beautifully. You don't get tangles. So the one I'm using here is actually a size 28.
Right.
No, it isn't. Rubbish. It's a 22, sorry. And it would be the one you'd use for, on here, on the tile, this thread here is the slightly thicker perle, if you can just see. It's a slightly thicker thread.
Oh, okay.
That's where you're making the boxes before you cut. And ditto with the book, you would see there as well. If I just, that's how perle often looks.
Oh, let's see that.
Comes in a bobbin. Yes.
Absolutely. So,
right. So that's that.
Can we move on to the cushion, just because a lot of people are asking about it. There's so many people who have already checked out on it, and it's something that I've personally not seen before. Is this another one that we're bringing for the first time here?
I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure it's the first time here, yes. I'm not sure if it's been on TV before.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Now this is a bit random, I have to tell you. Zweigart and Zwitzky, the people that do our linen for us, they very kindly offered us, they have a sampler in their museum that is as long as this room. It's as long as this room.
Wow.
I'm not exaggerating, it's as long as this room. And all it is repeating patterns. So they gave us the chart for it, thick, and said, you're very welcome to reproduce something from it if you'd like to. Well, obviously. So I sat there and just chose. I think it was originally stitched in Hungary. It wasn't stitched in Germany, it was certainly stitched somewhere else. And so this is repeating patterns. You can work it on linen or Aida. The backing doesn't come. You add that yourself. I've seen it with a royal blue background.
Oh, wow.
It looked lovely. I've seen it just in a plain linen background, very, very attractive. So you get the panel, and it's a smashing thing to stitch. There's no back stitch, it's just cross stitch. All of it's worked in 2 strands, so you can start with a loop, like I've just been showing. And of course you get nice chunks of colour. This would be a first project.
Really?
Oh yes.
Oh,
I mean, there's a
wow.
lot of it, but it's only the same. And you can say, tonight I'm going to work this.
Yes. Exactly. This is the great thing about samplers, isn't it? Is
Yeah,
that you can just
absolutely.
do bit by bit, and you can choose the
show
motifs. Once you've got the chart,
absolutely,
you've got then those motifs to do again. We've got an image come through from Diana in Kent, who's done this before. She said, I made the cushion a couple of years ago. She did it very similar with that lovely red background. She says, I enjoyed every minute. All of the kits are beautiful.
That looks wonderful.
And she says they also come with really easy to follow instructions and the very best materials. That's from Diana
Thank you, Diana. That's very kind of you to say that.
We always have lovely messages about all of the Guild kits. This is the one on linen, by the way, and if you want it on linen, get it now. Sorry, the only reason that I don't want to rush or pressure anybody, the only reason I say it is because it is about to sell out. So if you want it, now's the time to get it on linen.
So you've got the pre-sorted, this is
Look
the
at
linen.
That red, it's gorgeous.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It was such fun to design.
I
did have to keep going and lying in a darkened room for a bit because they're not my colours really.
They're really bright, vibrant colours, aren't they?
And then this is the edge of fabric. This is a good example, look, of you seeing.
So the difference, yes.
So this is...
If you just move your head back, sorry, we're just seeing your hair, that's it.
Yeah, sorry,
perfect, thank you.
So you've got the squares.
Yeah.
Now when you see this being made, instead of, with linen, you've got single strands going down the length of the fabric. When the Ada's made, they're in groups of 4s. So 4 goes under and over. I think it was invented in 1870. I may have forgotten, but it was certainly invented before 1900. I think it was about 1870, because I had a celebration of its anniversary, and it was designed specifically for counted cross stitch.
Right, okay.
Whereas linen is linen is linen.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, I mean, in some cases, the samplers, old samplers, the individual would have woven the linen first.
Gosh, I wonder what Rosabella did.
See, this is actually a double canvas.
Oh, is it?
Oh, no, it's not. I lied. It is actually a coarse linen.
Oh, wow.
Amazing, isn't it?
It's
Bless her
unbelievable.
heart.
Yeah, it just reminds us all we can all do this.
I wonder what she would think now.
She'd be a whiz at it, wouldn't she, now? If you think, actually, yeah, she'd be like, what on earth is all this witchcraft of everything, all the technology? It's crazy.
Extraordinary.
She wouldn't have had any, like you said, any artificial lights or anything.
That's right, and poor needles. And yes, I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary. Well, I always find it, you know, when I look at, I've got a sample that was stitched, she signed it, the date that we won the Battle of Waterloo. I just can't get my head around it, really. It's funny how things cross generations, isn't it? When I was nursing, we're talking a long time ago now, I met a gentleman who had been a drummer boy in the Boer War.
Oh, wow.
You know, you just can't compute.
No, gosh, that's crazy.
That's why it's so important to talk to old folk, isn't
Oh,
it,
absolutely,
really?
yeah.
Not that I'm an old folk, obviously.
We love getting all your stories, Joan.
So there's the threads, as I said, quite bright for me, but very much like the original. I mean, the original was practically luminous. And that's, as I said, that's the panel.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful.
And as you can see, it was done and finished and...
Absolutely. I'm going to ask you the same question again. Will it be any different size if it were on Ada? No, it will come out exactly the same size.
If you're going to work this one, on the linen, you're going to work over 2 threads, and on this, you're going to work over 1 box. And the principle is exactly the same. You start with a loop. There's no reason why you can't start with a loop on this. Nope. So it's a lovely thing to stitch.
Oh, beautiful.
And again, you can colour in the chart as you go. Let me just check I got this right.
And there are all full instructions as well, aren't there?
Yes, let me just get the...
We can have a good look through the
Well, there's your picture. There's the instructions again we mentioned. So you've got how to do the loop start here. This one is actually an away waist knot. Now, that doesn't really apply on anything we've done today, except if you're working with a randomly dyed thread, you know where the colours change as you go.
Variegated, yeah.
Variegated, thank you. You can't fold that in half because the colours get disrupted.
That makes sense.
So if you were working one of the designs with a variegated colour, you'd start with an away waist knot. And that means you start with your threads, 2 threads. And that's another thing I meant to say, actually. When you're taking your threads, let's take the red. If I take a batch of 6 off. So stranded cotton is mercerised, which means that it's twisted when it's made, which is what gives it the sheen.
So into 6 strands.
And there's 6 strands here.
Okay.
There is a tendency, if you're going to work with two, to grab hold of two like that and pull. Mm-hmm. What actually happens is you get a knot about there.
And then, get in a tangle.
Because they're twisted, you end up getting in a tangle. So if you can resist the temptation of doing that and actually go to the end, take, if I could do it, there, take one, and then take another one, pulling from the end of the skein, and then realign them, then that will work better. And then I'm going to put a knot on the end. Then that is this knot here.
Which is called an away
waste. It's away and you'll waste it.
Right.
Because when you've done some stitches, you snip off the knot and you want enough in the distance from here to here to be able to thread the needle with that little bit and then finish that off under your stitching.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely,
I think it makes sense.
Yeah. I love that it's even that detail is included in your instructions. And did you say you also get a chart that is plain that you can colour in?
This one, yes. We've only put in we haven't done a colour chart for this because this is so distinctive, and you can colour in where you've worked. You know, the ones you've done. I use a pencil, and I mean, if you want to photocopy it and make it bigger, and keep your original so you can go back to it again, then that's quite fun too. So I'll put this one back together.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? This is your cushion, by the way, and it's just £25, and you get everything that you need, that panel.
And it was Czechoslovakian, when there was Czechoslovakia, stitched in the 1800s. So I could have remembered that. It wasn't Hungarian at all.
But you say it was
But
literally
close.
the size of this.
Yes, oh yes. I'm turning around to look. Yes, it's up on a wall and it's about the size of not very deep.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
You know, but yeah, absolutely.
So I love the meaning behind a lot of the different stitches and the history behind it. It's good to learn about it whilst you're stitching as well, isn't it?
It's nice sometimes, I think, to think back to the people who were doing it when they were doing it, and what sort of experiences they had. You know. It's like, you know, I collect old cotton reels. I mean, I'm getting sadder as I get older.
You collect old cotton reels. What's the oldest cotton reel that you have?
About 1840, I think. Wow. Very tatty. But you know, when you think about, you know, you put it on your treadle sewing machine in your cottage, and then I look at them later and wonder what was made. Yes, I mean,
it's brilliant. I wonder what they'll discover of all of our things.
Well, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I mean, the business about children stitching as well, there is a certain amount of scoffing that goes on about, oh, you can't get children to do that nowadays. But actually, this is about children's expectations, our expectation of the children, and the expectations of people around them. There were no electronics, no computer games, no sitting indoors doing this. No. Things were different and time was spent differently. And if you were expected to be able to do it, you could.
At the age of 6.
But I did think that was the youngest I've ever seen.
Rosabella, she was talented. That is a real
And I mean,
talent.
she's got that border going round. Interesting, you can look. With cross stitch, if you make an error, you can always flam it in the flam it. My mother used to use that word. I don't think it exists really. Flam it in the corner, where you could. But you can see if I get this down. I mean, it's great fun. But the corners don't match.
Oh, they're
so she's done her repeating pattern like that, and then when she's got to the corner, she's just made something up to fit. Now, I've done that, and lots of us have done it. Now, the only time you can't do it is with hardhanger.
Right.
When you do hardhanger projects, if you get to the end of your shape, let's find a shape to show you.
I can't help but even look at how neat the back of that is.
Yes.
Crazy, isn't it? And I know that you don't look at the back of anybody's
You don't
work.
look at the back.
Sorry, Rosabella.
If you look at this shape here, whoops, here.
Thank you.
I will get used to it. We had the cameras the other way around at the other studio.
Yeah,
I had to learn to do it upside down. Yeah, so if you look at this, when I get up to here, it has to match. I can't do my initials or a flower.
No, you can't flam it in the corner.
You can't flam it in the corner, whereas with cross stitch you can. I have got a sampler at home that has been photographed. This is absolutely true. It's a band sampler, quite a long one, it's probably so long. And because I wasn't paying attention, I wandered fractionally at the bottom, 4 threads fractionally. So when it's photographed, there's always a pair of nice stalk scissors over that corner.
Yeah.
That's the same as flamming it in the corner.
Absolutely. I love that term. I think we'll use that.
Now then.
So, yes, our little needle keepers. These are so beautiful.
Let me find
and I know
some.
that whenever you've brought them in for us, they've always been extremely popular. Where did you discover these then?
Well, there's a firm called Historycraft who are based in a local town in Cirencester, and my husband actually met the owner at that time and got chatting, and so I went to talk to them about things, and they had some very interesting selections of pretend historical things for museums made out of resin. I'll get there in the end.
No, go on, yeah. No, we love
anyway,
about it.
they had things like scrimshaw and stuff that's pretend. Anyway, they had things in the showcase with magnets in. Mm-hmm. They were actually pebbles. Looked like a genuine beach pebble. Yeah. And I went, oh, I'd like a hedgehog.
As you do.
With pins on it.
Yeah.
So it's something we will be bringing you before Christmas, I think.
Lovely.
Yes. So that's how it started. We had a little box with a moulded hedgehog with pins stuck in him.
So these aren't made of wood? Because they look like mahogany.
These are made of resin,
right.
plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic. Each one has been an original. I love him with his big fat bottom. And he's just wonderful.
Oh.
Hippo.
Hippo's great.
So we had some boxes made, and then we had an elephant made, a box, and the elephant was far too small.
Okay.
And I said, actually, can we just have the elephant? And she said, well, what for? I said, well, I think it's a needle minder. And that was the beginning of a whole
series of animals.
So there's
I bet
Owlie.
they love you there.
So the point of these is you can just drop your gold needles on. They keep them safe for you.
And
they
they're
look
lovely.
nice.
They're carved beautifully, aren't they?
Aren't they smashing? So the magnets, when they're made, if you can imagine, the magnet is very tiny but deep.
Okay.
And very strong. When they arrive, I use a knife to separate them because they're stuck together like in a tube. So the mould's half filled, the magnet's popped in, they're sealed, and then this finish is called linishing, where they go on a pebble thing and they get ground. And these, as I said, pretend to be mahogany.
Yeah, they
but
look
of course
so
they're not.
Beautiful.
And they're such wonderful presents for people.
Oh, well, even the people who aren't necessarily stitchers, they're great.
I always say, if you're going to give them to a friend, just put a paperclip on.
Yeah.
Because they'll wonder why you gave them a hippo.
Yeah, absolutely. They won't know that they're...
But aren't they wonderful? So I have a little row on my desk in the office, and I throw needles at them as I'm picking up the phone. You know, they look after it all for me.
They catch them so quickly. That's the hippo one. It's £10, which is a lovely gift for somebody. And then the owl...
There he is.
I do love the owl as well, and he's got a beautiful face. Look at him. Again, just £10, which is such a fantastic price point. Lovely stocking filler, a gift for someone.
Absolutely.
I daren't say the word Christmas, but we're all thinking about it now, aren't we? I know, especially
funny.
with the times at the moment.
Yes.
I think I want to be more prepared than I normally am.
I think when the kids go back to school, even if you haven't got them at home with you anymore, I know that from our experience in the business, you know, when the kids go back in September, people are thinking of the next thing, which is Christmas.
Absolutely. And
so they're lovely.
There's no way I want to be standing outside in the elements, queuing outside shops this year. I think I'm definitely going to be doing my shopping nice and early. They'd make lovely gifts. nothing else, just £10. Your magnetic needle holder. They're absolutely beautiful. We love them. We look forward to seeing more from that series then. Hedgehog to come before Christmas.
We've certainly got a hedgehog box to bring you.
Oh, lovely, lovely indeed. Now, there's another one of these. Oh, I've seen so many pictures on the Facebook fan page, actually, of the beautiful boxes that are so beautifully detailed. Now, I didn't realise that we could do this on today's show, but we've managed to find a few that are on the website. In fact, there are less than 10 of these available, but we can still talk through exactly what this is. Oh my word, this is beautiful. So there it is on the website. You can see the item code number as well. Or what could I search in? You just need to type in
etui.
The Cross Stitch Guild. You can type in and you'll find it.
There you are.
Or the Fleur Etui, and you'll be able to find it. So from there, it looks like a lovely box, but actually it opens down. This must have been difficult to design.
Well, I'll be quite honest, there's a lot of exploding box. Quilters make very fine exploding boxes, I've seen them. And I wanted to make one, and it's just one of those things that day, I don't suppose I made it the way a quilter would. I just sort of flammed it in the corners, really. So there's the lids like so. There's a little butterfly charm, a few beads.
That's gorgeous.
That's the queen stitch there, which is pretty. That's done in a little bit of the variegated thread. And then when you take the lid off, there is a wow factor, isn't there?
Absolutely.
There is
also very useful, isn't it?
Yes, yes, absolutely. We've got the numbers here for your needle sizes. There is a little pair of chatelaine scissors that are included in the pack, live in there. And I didn't think of it until afterwards, but wouldn't it have been nice to have had a little surprise here?
Oh, I suppose, well, you could, couldn't you?
Still could. Anyway, and there's a little needle book there, look.
Oh, that's lovely. And then a little pincushion.
Yes, and actually this is a biscornu pincushion, which some of you I've shown before. Basically, what you've got is two identical squares, and you work them both the same. And when you make it up, if you can see, this is buttoned onto my base, actually to stop it getting pinched at shows, which is a bit. So it wouldn't need to be pit buttoned if you didn't want to. But you can see I've put the corner of this square in halfway down the side of that square, and that gives you that lovely dumpy shape.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So we've got a few left, haven't we? I didn't
absolutely.
realise that.
Just to remind you once again, on the website, jump to www.sewingstreet.com. The Fleur Etui, limited edition. You can see there are literally only 8 remaining now.
It comes in a box like the greenhouse. I have to remember. We haven't got a sample to show you. Yes, you know the shirt box that we had on earlier, hopefully. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, just referencing the greenhouse, can we just quickly revisit the greenhouse?
Let me undo him.
This is one that's very close to your heart. You said when you were showing it earlier, it just gave you goosebumps of like, oh. I bet sometimes you do when you spend, a lot of time designing.
It's always great when something works out as well as you hoped it might, because it doesn't always.
No.
You're not always thrilled, So this started out as a seed box because I had a greenhouse of my own for the first time ever, which looks just like this. And these are I'll just reach across for the bits and pieces here. So you've got, in the box set, you've got the silk to line here.
So it's literally everything.
And the felt. And there's felt on the bottom so it doesn't scratch anything.
And you can also make all of the bits and bobs to go inside.
That's right, you get the green scissors and a watt bow. There's a little alphabet there, look. And what else? A flower pot. Little flower pot. I think there's 2 flower pots and an alphabet. And then you've got the door of the greenhouse to put your needles in. And little twisted cord there.
It's what I love about your projects, is they're very useful things. They're all things that you would use.
That started from us all running out of wool, Framing's expensive. And we've all got walls full of cross stitch, so actually making things that you can use is quite nice, really. So that's got a little, little bucket and spade, and a fork and a trowel. this was the first time I'd had a go at the tape measure.
So you get a tape measure as well?
Oh yes,
don't you,
yes, the tape measure's in.
Literally everything.
And yes, you make it up yourself.
See, whether you choose to keep everything for yourself or you're gifting little bits like the little retractable tape measure and the watt bow, the ones that you can just do slowly. It isn't something that you'd necessarily say, right, this is your first project, but actually, if you did just say, right, I'm just going to do the watt bow to start with, and I'm just going to do this, you build up those skills.
Work through. And actually, when you come to do this, the chart is one big piece. So you stitch it on the fabric as it is on the chart. It tells you all this inside. And then you cut out the pieces ready to start making them up. So it's great fun. And I mean, we've seen some really, really interesting versions stitched.
Oh, nice.
Where people have done them.
You can personalise it and make it
Well,
like
of course.
your
People
greenhouse, different flowers.
Yes, people have different
plants.
things hanging in the top. My friend Carol, she's done hers with a tree fern because she has one. So she's done a tree fern inside. No, I mean, it's a very enjoyable thing to stitch.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to see all your makes.
When we see it, when we have it at shows, we have it on a shelf on the side, like so, sort of standing like so, and people walk up and just go like that.
They're just drawn to it.
It's drawn to it, yes.
It's a beautiful design, lots of people loving that. We've literally got a few minutes left to go. The Berlin Rose sampler.
Right, now do you remember when we looked at the little girl's piece of work, I said she probably worked it from a coloured chart? Well, this came from a coloured chart, if you can imagine. This section here was a hand-painted Berlin chart. They're called Berlin charts because, well, firstly because they were made and printed in Berlin in about 1860 onwards. And it was when aniline dyes became available and we were able to get colours that we hadn't been able to get before. So that the Victorians loved their brightly coloured wools. And I mean, that's exactly what's happened here.
Yeah, Rosabella, they're beautiful.
You know, if you look at the colours, the
blues. That it stayed that bright for that long.
Absolutely, it's extraordinary. So this, and the alphabet came from another old sampler. So this was something that, it's a composite. We had this very pretty Berlin pattern, which we charted, and then I decided what else to put on it. And again, this could be worked on linen or Ada.
Right, brilliant. I think we've got a couple left in linen and a couple left in Ada. What is that one worked on? Is that linen?
This is linen. This is linen. And there's no backstitch or anything. Some of us, it depends where you started learning your cross stitch. If you look out in Denmark, you can see a sampler with 16 different trees on it that look like the trees they're meant to look like, and there's no backstitch.
Right.
And then you can look at more modern cross stitch where if the backstitch was taken off, you wouldn't know what it was.
Oh, okay.
There's a combination in there, somewhere in the middle. This is absolutely perfect for the true cross stitcher because it's pure cross stitch. And all you're doing is changing the colour.
Fantastic. I mean, they are absolutely beautiful, aren't they? As always, thank you so much for bringing these. They're gorgeous. Do you know when you're coming back to see us?
I think probably end of October, beginning of November.
Fab. You'll bring us lots of goodies ready for Christmas.
Well, there's certainly a couple of Christmas ideas up our sleeves.
Very exciting. Thank you so much. And I must say, have a look on our Sewing Street fan page because so many people have posted pictures that they've been making.
I will. I'll do that as soon as I get home.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And we'll definitely be able to show all of your software next time.
Yes, we'll have a go at that.
We'll have a go at that as well. Brilliant.
Yes, I'm not very good at it, all right? So you'll know the truth. You know the awful truth about me.
Thank you so much, Shane. We love you here.
Bye,
just to remind you, if you go to our website, all of the Cross Stitch Guild kits are available online. So there you go, www.sewingstreet.com. It'll redirect you to Jewellery Maker. Don't worry, you're in the right place. Type in Cross Stitch Guild at the top there, and you can see the Berlin Rose sampler, the Wildflower Watt Bow, the Cross Stitch Guild flower. You can see all of the different kits that we've been talking about today, all of the ones that are available. Oh, you've even got the cockerel there, the chicken. Amazing. We had that a couple of last time Jane was here and it was so popular. There's some beautiful, beautiful samplers. The Token of Love, I believe, is now sold out, but once you click on it, it will let you know if there is any availability. So over the next few minutes, as I say, I know that we always love these hours where we get to talk to Jane, but after the show, have a look through and see what is available. And if you've got any questions for us, let us know, or speak to somebody on the fan page. Great thing about our community is there's always someone there answering questions. All of the viewers love answering questions, so if you've got any, message to them. Now, tomorrow's show, you've got Debbie tomorrow. Right, I can't tell you why yet, but tune in at 8 o'clock and all will be revealed. Please tune in. You've got Debbie Shaw tomorrow, and you've got a special surprise at 8 o'clock. Friday surprise. We just heard about it today and we were like, what? Debbie is one jammy dodger getting tomorrow's surprise. So 8 o'clock, sewing room supplies with the early bird special as well. Don't forget to start the show. At 9 o'clock, Delphine is going to be here, and we're doing block 11 and 12 of the block of the week. At 10 o'clock, we've got Debbie Shaw's Shelley bag, and she'll be demonstrating it. At 11 o'clock, brand new. It's brand new, and it's fabulous fabrics that are all brand new. That's 11 o'clock. As always, there's still another hour of the replay to enjoy. I love brand new fabric, don't you? Don't forget, there's another hour of the replay to enjoy now, which was yesterday's 8 o'clock show, which we did. Lots of tools, lots of fabrics. We did a bit of all sorts yesterday. So it was all things quilting. So do watch before we hand over to our lovely sister channel, Jewellery Maker. It's been lovely to be with you for the last 4 days. I'm back on Saturday, so I'll see you then. In fact, I've got Cara with me on Saturday, and we've got a lovely, lovely show lined up for you. Check out on any of the Cross Stitch Guild's kits, because they are very, very popular indeed. It's been a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much to Jane Greenoff as well for today, and we will see you again bright and early tomorrow with a big surprise at 8 a.m.